say, okay, I have a lot of money, but you have no money unless you take profits.
When the first ever spot ETF was created for gold 10x.
And the only thing I really knew was Bitcoin at the time, so I just invested very heavily into that. Rode it all the way up.
What's up?
My name is Jeff. Even the creators have said it's going to be the predecessor of CBDC.
What that taught me was that I need to be self-sufficient.
A solid DCA investment strategy, and pretend the red sell button doesn't even exist.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
What up, DGens? Welcome to the Christmas Eve special of the DGen Roundtable. We got some fire content for you guys tonight. We're going to have some special guests. We're going to have some community folks hopping on. We're all sitting around. We're all goofing off. We're having a good time. It's going to be a laid-back stream. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. So before we get into things, before we get started, make sure if you guys haven't done so already, you may smash that like button. Make sure you guys like and comment on the video as well. The biggest thing that you guys can do is take that URL and share it all across social media. Make sure you guys are joining the Telegram chat as well. You guys can check in the description. You will find the Telegram as well as all the social medias, both the DGen Roundtable and the panelists themselves. So that being said, panel, we appreciate you guys joining tonight. We got Zenith, we got Nate, we got Will. We're going to have Brendan coming in here shortly as well. He's behind the scenes taking care of some things real quick, so he'll be popping on with us in a little bit. But Zenith, what's going on, man? Barely recognize you with the helmet and the goggles on, dude. What you up to?
Not much, brother. I'm actually traveling right now. I'm in the beautiful state of Washington. That's why I'm drinking some Rainier if you're from the area. Visiting some family. Oh, Will knows what's going on.
That Rainier, bro. Rainier beer,
go.
Baby.
Is that named
sure,
after
yeah,
the Mount? Is that named after Mount Rainier? Is that what the beer is?
Mount Rainier, baby. That's what it is. If you ever
Yeah,
fly into SeaTac Airport, the Seattle one, you'll get a really good view of the mountain flying in. It is super dope. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, my little brother, when he was active duty, he was stationed out of Fort Lewis, and that's all he would talk about was Mount Rainier. I mean, he learned to snowboard out there, and I feel like every weekend he was out there hitting the slopes and just doing something out there. So that's all he would talk about. That's the only reason that I've known it. I've never been out there, but he said, dude, if you want to get into snowboarding and stuff like that, he said it's absolutely awesome.
For sure. That sounds exactly like my dad, actually. He, I guess some Zenith lore here. My dad was an Army Ranger. He was also stationed in Fort Lewis. And all he would talk about is the old Rainier commercials with these frogs that would just like ribbit and say Rainier. But it was cool. When I was stationed out here, actually, I had my dad come visit and we ended up doing some hiking. It was summertime, so no skiing. But yeah, it's a blast. This is a cool state. Although, I'll be honest, slightly glad to have moved. Be in a different spot with a little more sunshine, but it's not a bad place to be.
I like it, man. All right, ascending man, Mr. Nate McGitt, dude. How you enjoying vacation so far?
I'm finding myself, because this is the first vacation that I've had like a full week off in 2 years. Actually, I figured out it was 2.5 years, right? And so I'm sitting here like, what am I gonna do now? And I thought to myself, hey, you know what'd be nice if I went for a hike. And I almost did that tonight with the family, but then I was like, oh, wait, I got the show tonight. So maybe I'll do it tomorrow, Christmas Day, something like that. I do know what I want to do, and I'm revealing this to her right now, but I want to take my lovely Mrs. McGettit out for Christmas watching, going to go see all the lights and everything during the nighttime. And I would, so I don't know. We're going to have dinner tomorrow, so I'm thinking maybe that'll be a Monday thing, Tuesday. I don't know. I got all week, right? It's interesting when you find yourself able to do things, and you do have some time to do stuff. It's different mindset for sure.
For sure. I know 3 or 4 years ago, I took my entire family. I took my daughter. I was married at the time, so my wife at the time, my little brother, his family. We all I rented a limo for all of us, and we all went around on a tacky light tour. And we had like 2 or 3 bottles of whiskey. We had a couple bottles of vodka in there. That was the first time I'd ever blacked out. Never blacked out before. I remember half of the trip, and then the next thing I know, we literally did this on Christmas Eve. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago now that I think about it when I'm thinking about the time. But yeah, it was 4 or 5 Christmas Eves ago, and I woke up at 4:30 in the morning on Christmas morning, and the tree had all the presents on it. The living room was entirely decorated, and I had passed out on the couch. So I didn't know what the hell had happened. I woke up, and it was just a new world. It wasn't the world that I fell asleep in. So it totally
sitting there literally wondering, what? Wait.
Right.
I remember up to this point, but then what happened after that? And then you start hearing stories from other people. You were doing this, you were doing that. I'm like, oh.
Yep. So I remember the big thing is the challenge. My ex-wife and my brother and his wife, they were watching the challenge, and that was when they had another guy named Josh on there, and they were trash talking him. And apparently I woke up in a drunken stupor upset because I heard them talking shit about a dude named Josh. I was like, what the hell are you guys talking about? And then I rolled back over and passed out. So, but those are the stories that I was told about it. So, Will Stevenson down in Temple, man, you hanging out with the family, which you guys got big Christmas plans for tomorrow. What are you guys up to?
I have no idea what's going on tomorrow. I'm just down here hanging out at my mom's house. My brother's here. My sister's here. My second brother he's off other places, but me and my youngest brother, we just got finished doing some ice plunges. None of you guys watching right now live got to see any of that, but Nate and Mrs. Maggette, our producer, they both got to watch me do my initial jump into a bucket full of ice water and scream quite audibly as I was not ready for the ice cold water. But that's what I'm doing on this wonderful Christmas Eve. I've still got some of those like
because freaking like
huh?
I hop on the stream and you're like shirtless in your swimming trunks and everything, and so is your brother, and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't shirtless Dace, it's shirtless Will today.
Yeah, but like, dude, I've still got like residual cold underneath my skin, like because I think shirtless Will. I did like a total of probably 5 or 6 minutes in the ice water, and I'd bought I want to say like 14 7-pound bags of ice, so it's like 98 pounds of ice in this tiny little, I don't know, 120 quart tote plastic thing that me and my brother filled up with a garden hose right before going live. So that's what I'm doing for Christmas, is just jumping in ice water. Me and my brother will be doing that again tomorrow when he comes back, but just more ice plunges to get the body shivering and yeah, that's what's up. So if I'm like a little bit out of it right now, it's because like my body is resetting it and pumping the blood back where it's supposed to go and everything. So I'm a little bit loopy, but it's great, man. It's great. I'm gonna have a good Christmas.
Will, fun fact: that's either shock or hypothermia or both. So enjoy.
It could be both. But I was only in the ice for like, shoot, I don't know, 5 minutes total, so it shouldn't be too crazy. But hey, if I pass out, I'm always making jokes about dying on stream, whether I'm like dying in a car crash or dying falling off a tower. So if I die of like the after effects of hypothermia, then I guess you guys get to see one more cool thing before the bags pump.
Don't you put that on us, on Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that on us.
We've been 1,000 feet with you. We've been up in the air with you 1,000 feet while you were dangling from a power cord or power line. So we could probably go to the hospital with you if you got some hypothermia and you passed out on us.
I'm sure I could get my brother to hold the phone while I'm getting like currentied and stuff, and you guys can see him take my temperature and everything. It'd be a good time.
Yeah, we'll
great.
clip
Oh,
that.
there's my brother my brother's in the chat. Bungalows for Bachelors. Shout out to Sam. He did the ice with me. He did not scream as much as I did in the very beginning. So I've got work to do for being a little bit less audible when I get into the uncomfortable ice water. But yes, Bungalows for Bachelors. Shout out to my brother Sam.
So we're going to have a couple different folks joining us. They should be hopping on here pretty soon. We got a couple minutes where it's just the four of us before we have other people joining us. Wanted to start a quick conversation with you guys before we get them in. What is the one thing about 2023 that surprised you guys in the crypto market? Does anything come to mind?
Pulse Chain launching.
Okay, we got Pulse Chain launching. Do you want to talk any detail about that, Will, at all, or anything like that?
Well, so like it threw us all off. So at the time, I was in the CMC Q2 with Miguel and Charlie and all the dudes in there, and I suppose a lot of the folks from this audience. But it just kind of threw everyone off because it's like, oh, it's live. And I remember seeing Nate, you had posted in one of the chats like, hey, Pulse Chain's live, and it's like, oh my god, and fucking everyone's running around like chickens with their heads cut off, and so we're all trying to like make our trades and stuff, and we're all trying to get like our first few like little things going and taken care of. And I know that we've talked about this a few times. Like we've all got screenshots of like, hey, our first transactions. You know, one of the things Brendan likes to talk about is some of our first transactions on Pulse Chain. It was like, oh, I remember back when it was like 0.002 pulse for like a swap or for like a transaction or something like that. So yeah, when Pulse Chain had launched off, that was a definite surprise. It was one of those like, oh, it's always just going to be 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, and then oh, hey, shit, we're live. You know, so that was one of the cooler things that happened. And then the price action that followed with that was very unexpected, but hey, it is what it is. It allows us longer time to buy in and stuff.
It
So,
did
Nate,
seem
you had
like
said
it did
Oh, go
seem
ahead.
like it. Yeah, I was gonna say it did seem like it accelerated pretty quickly. Like once the rumors started to come out, like, hey, we could be within like a week of this thing launching, and then all of a sudden it was like a rumor came out on Twitter, and then a couple more rumors came out on Twitter, and then the next thing you know, it's like, okay, this thing's going to be launching any day now, and then sure enough, it ended up launching. But it was funny because I do remember it was like, okay, Pulse Chain's going to launch at some point. It'll launch at some point. Oh, there's a rumor it's going to start up pretty soon. Okay, that's just a rumor. All right, there's more rumors. Okay, now we're live. Like it happened just like that. It was like nothing, and then it accelerated. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Yep.
It's very easy to forget this, but we actually had 2 Pulse Chain event pumps. The first one was actually when we had V3 of the testnet come out, and that was the initial pump from New Year's to about mid-March, I want to say. When we had that was because V3 came out, everyone was excited for it. And then oddly enough, we had the V4 testnet have its own little like small pump, but it was very small. And then we really only saw the chart go up wild once we got actual confirmed news that Richard Hart was doing the launch event and doing the snapshot. And then, I mean, honestly, after that, everyone knows we had the snapshot and then we dumped. And then we had the great EHEX PHEX FUD event, and that dumped some more. And then we had the Richard Hart SEC case come out, and that dumped as well. So it's been a wild year for Hexkins, but at the same time, for as much as we've dumped, I think the community as a whole is still very optimistic, and we're still just stoked about being here and all the projects coming out. So, yeah, speaking of which, Hexkin lost in Asia. Good to see you, brother.
Hell yeah.
Look at that.
yeah, man, shout out, good to see you. Nate, what were you saying?
Well, for
what
me,
was your surprise for 2023?
For me, it was the ETFs. I didn't think that was really going to be a thing, especially like, I mean, first off, I was born in the bear. It was September of last year, right? And so if you go all the way around, it was just nothing but terrible FUD from all these institutions. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, oh, by the way, we're going to have a Bitcoin ETF. What? Where's this coming from? And the next thing you know, these people like Larry Fink are just 180ing on their viewpoints with Bitcoin and all that. I'm like, oh, this is so out of nowhere. At least it felt that way, right? And now from July all the way up until where we're at here, that second half of the year has been just up and to the right. And yeah, it's again, I've had to take a step back and look at it and think to myself, hey, back when I didn't know anything, 2 years ago, when Bitcoin was at this point, I was like, oh, there's that Bitcoin thing. Nowadays I'm like, wow, has it really gotten that expensive already? Sheesh. This stuff is really going.
It's wild. Think about the beginning of the year. We were sitting at like what? I want to say it was like 16, 17,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, it was like 18,000.
We're at 43,000 right now. The year's not even over. It's wild. This is, I don't know if anybody would have predicted this to be as much of an up year as it is, but like mathematically, if you look at it, the reason it feels like such an up year is because we did have those all-time lows right at New Year's of 2022, 2023. So that's why, just like on paper, don't get a little confused by it, but like we have just been blasting off. And guess what? We're still 4 months away from the halvening, and that's going to be our next macro event for crypto right now.
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
And it's not only that too, but if you look at it, it was kind of crazy at the very beginning of the year when we had, I would almost call that like a bull trap, it's just everything pumped up really high, and I actually caught myself getting behind a little bit because I thought this is when it was going to take off. So I had sold where I thought a good spot would be, and then I bought back just a tiny bit higher because I was like, oh, I don't want this to run away from me. So that was a little bit of a mistake in learning on my part. But at the same time, I'm like, wait a minute, now it's just dropping again. It's just dropping. And then we get pulse chain, right, and all that, and it just keeps dropping. I'm like, uh-oh. Do I still believe in this? And looking at all the macro and devs and all that, it's like same sort of deal with what happened with Phantom, right? Even after the hacks and all that, like I still kept up with it. Their devs are just way too good. And now look at it. Now look where we're at. And everything is looking to pop now. And I'm getting excited, man. This next year is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, this time last year, we were sitting at like $16,500 Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's already 2x'd, and Pulse Chain wasn't even around. You know what I'm saying? Ethereum was, let me take a look at my chart real quick. If it wasn't, let's see, where was Ethereum? Ethereum was around 1,100, 1,200. So, you know, Ethereum's done a 2x as well, you know, from this time last year. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting sitting from where we are. And the biggest thing is that we weren't even a group. We didn't even know each other. Like, we may have seen each other's names, you know what I'm saying, in chat rooms and stuff like that. But I didn't know who Will Stevenson was. You know, I didn't know Zenith. I didn't know Nate. None of us knew each other this time last year. So if there was one thing for me, it's our channel. It's our community, man. That's the thing for me, you know, and we, you know what, I want to say we launched our first episode June 17th. I think it was in June. So it was around, you know, 6 months ago. And, you know, here we are now, and it's awesome. You know, it's exciting, and it's fun to have, you know, a good group to enjoy the ride with. So those are my thoughts. So
I think that I remember seeing Casey a lot, games by Casey in the telegrams in the Q1 Q4 class with Miguel and Charlie. And I think, Nate, I had seen you pop up with when you were talking about the icosahedron strategies and the LPing long ago. And that was that was about all
I saw a ton was Agent J. Jay is all over the place in those chats.
Yeah. I didn't notice. I didn't notice Jay for some reason.
There is one person who we're going to have on in a little bit who I remember. I'm not going to say now, but you know, when this individual comes on, I will definitely make sure that I refer to him. But there's one person. Like I said, anybody else that we have coming on, I mean, let me think back through knowing who we have coming on tonight, because I don't want to give any spoilers. There's
no spoilers.
One person. Yeah, there's just one person. And like I said, when that person comes on, I'll let them know. But they've been around the game for a minute. So I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one on.
Yep. No, I'm not. Yep. No spoilers for me either. I know exactly who you're talking about, and you're absolutely right. I did see him around a lot too. I guess you guys are just going to have to wait. Just going to have to stick around and watch, huh? What a bummer. I guess those on the replay can fast forward, but you know, everyone else, you're stuck with real time.
Yep. All right. I'll tell you what, we got someone behind the scenes. We were going to have somebody hop on at 9:15, but they're a little late. So let's go ahead. We're going to give this first guest a couple extra minutes to hang out and chat with us. I know, you know, we could probably give them an hour and a half, and, you know, we could sit here and have a good time talking with them. So we'll give them a couple extra minutes. I'm going to get them on. But first, we're going to play that lovely Bring the Special Guest On tune that we like to play, that we started for Thanksgiving. So let's go ahead and hit it and bring the homie on.
Why did I get that intro, homie? I know I'm not that popular. I do not come on this freaking YouTube channel and shill Viagra and Cialis in order to get that intro.
I was thinking something with more bullets.
Exactly. Hey, man, that's an idea. Maybe I'll release my own dick pill called freaking Bullets or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
I like it. Hey, it's a business idea right there. Sign it up. Get the white paper ready. I like it. What's going on,
that'd be
man?
cool if that was our first sponsor. Sorry, go ahead.
So what's popping, monkeys? What's going on?
Nothing much, man.
What are we talking about? I heard you cats talking a little bit about Pulse Chain momentarily.
Yeah, a little bit, man. We were talking about pretty much, you know, what was the big thing about 2023 that excited you the most? You know, there's A couple of us have brought up different things. This time last year we were down in the bottom. $16,000 Bitcoin, and it's already 2x at this point. We had Pulse Chain launch in 2023. We had our group, our community formed in 2023. So there's been a lot of cool stuff in 2023. What about you, Boogie? What is one thing about 2023 that either shocked you or that's got you excited or whatever?
Well, what I would say that probably excited me the most, and the bulls will not like what I'm going to say. I really enjoyed the dip. I liked the dip. I went ahead and I capped out some of my bags. Now, one of the things that I did not like the most, after Bitcoin hit that $15,000 mark, I thought that was it. I didn't think the altcoins were going to start going freaking to the downside, if anything. I thought the altcoins were going to remain where they were at. Then we ended up getting an altcoin bear run. I'm sure you cats remembered that. Everybody and the mother had their Pulse Chain bags wrecked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was actually expecting that, but because Bitcoin bottomed first, I was no longer expecting that. So, Will, it's kind of like when you're going on a 5-mile hump in the Marine Corps, and then all of a sudden the instructors tell you, no, it's a 15-mile hump at the end of the 5-mile hump. So it kind of caught me off guard. For you cats that don't know, a hump means, I think the Army calls it a road march or some shit like that. They call it some gay shit.
It's
a ruck march. Yeah, in the Army,
they call it something like that. We call it a hump. So yeah, man,
Yep.
That's what caught me off guard, and it caught me by surprise, if anything. Now, I know that you guys are going to bring an individual that's yellow on the outside and white on the inside later on tonight. And I got to give that cat some credit, man, because he went ahead and he relayed some data that he got from you guys at the DGen Roundtable, and that's none other than incentive token. Incentive token, of course, man, right now is not a bad time to buy, if anything. And I was doing some charts on that. I wanted to see if you cats let me show the charts on it. Well, I'm glad I gave you a hell of a laugh, if anything.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Go ahead and
I'm
present.
a little bit curious. I only heard about this today, and I haven't gotten a chance to look at anything yet. So yeah, this is interesting.
Now, this is not a chart. This is well, it is kind of a chart. Let me.
Hey, Josh, you got that for us?
This is a good scratcher.
Yeah, I got it.
Now, this is what this person relayed to me. In order to become a squid, you need $114 right now to get 195 freaking incentive token. You know what I'm saying? Can you guys see that?
Yep.
So I went ahead and I went to the charts. Let me go ahead and show the charts now. Boom. Present. Share screen. Go to Dex Screener. By the way, I love Dex Screener, man. I like it so much more than freaking CoinTrader Pro.
Agreed.
One of my favorite things about Dex Screener is that it actually gives you a little bit of on-chain data with all the buys and sells going on, and you even filter it by like size, amount, time. It's fantastic.
Yeah, man. Dex Screener is off the chain, man. I just wish it would record all your data on different computers. Now, one thing that I noticed about incentive token, we bottomed out on the day of December 12th. On a wick, we got down to about 39 cents. Of course, what's the likelihood that we're going to end up catching a wick? It's not very likely. So we got to look at the candles. And if you look at the bottom portion of the candle, that was 42 cents. Currently, we are on day 12 of this, or day 13 of the cycle. On average, from what I've noticed, you usually get a dip around day 14 to about day 21. So day 21 would be around January 2nd. So what I went ahead and did, I bought a little bit of freaking incentive token, and I'm hoping this sucker comes back down here and we double bottom before we rally to the upside. So that's the only thing I wanted to show you cats. And I think this is a good idea to capitalize on just in case incentive token does start to rally. What do you cats think?
My question is why? Why would it rally?
You see, I would say that it would rally for the same reason that doggone Jade rallied. Jade ended up rallying along with Jewel because of Hart's Law. So if Pulse Chain does end up going to the upside, which I do think it will, of course, yes. You guys have heard me argue the point that I think EHEX is going to do better. When it does, it should push the value of the token up. So when that happens, I think that would be a good time to take a little bit of profits and then distribute it into a dark horse, which I love, which is none other than PulseX.
Okay, so the idea then on that one is as Pulse goes up, people, or Pulse X or whatever, right, starts going up, people are going to want to put more into the farms, and putting more into the farms, they have this incentive token that they can keep getting out of, right? And that incentive token, because they keep maybe holding it because they think there's something special about it, or it'll just keep going up. That's kind of your idea. So the right now, as people are looking at things starting to pump, they're starting to think of like holding these coins more, hence why we hit our bottom, and now it's time to go up.
Yep, to the upside, my friends. So if they do utilize it on some type of freaking on farm, let's say there's more liquidity coming into a freaking app.pulsex.com, then that would incentivize people to use it. Not to mention, I don't know if Richard Hart would do this if he actually gives utility to that token. I have heard cats say this. I cannot confirm it because I'm not an IT guy or a coder or anything of that nature.
They
but
say
I heard
they found code that
there's an
allows
open
for
line of
utility,
code which
but it's
permits
not
it to get
active yet.
utility. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if Richard Hart would go back on his word and go ahead and readjust value of tokens. Not readjust value, but adjust the utility, because then it would change up the whole ecosystem within itself. You know what I'm saying? Let's say we gave grasshoppers machine guns. Would they really be hunted by chickens? See what I'm saying?
I hear you. So I'll say this. The incentive token, for folks that don't know, this is the reward that you get when you stake things on the actual PulseX website. At least that's what it happened when we were in the V1 of things.
Yes.
I don't know if it's still going on. Is it still going on now? Can you still farm incentive token?
No, I'm not. I'm no longer farming it. This is actually the first time I've ever bought it, if anything. But I think there still is farms going on right now on that website.
My point being here, though, is that the incentive token is honestly a little bit of like the dark horse of all of the RH ecosystem coins. But the only other thing is that we're still missing one major aspect of the RH ecosystem, which is the RH wallet. Some of the tinfoil hat theory stuff that I've heard is that this could be an opportunity to use as a specific token to sack for the wallet when it does come out. So like, imagine this. RH says like, all right, cool, we're doing sack for the wallet, maybe a wallet coin or something. If you sacrifice an incentive token, you get double points.
Yep. That would make sense.
Actually, right there.
Yeah, DCC actually dropped that a while back, and I remember him talking about that. I wonder if RH will do that. I wonder if he'll do that, and I wonder if he'll give us PulseX on Ethereum. What do you?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, man, until a use case comes out for it, I don't see what would drive a pump, to be honest with you. Because right now, unlike PulseX or unlike Pulse Chain, where in the future there's going to be less. Right now, it's just it's still inflationary. So until there's an assigned use case for it, I don't understand how a pump is even going to be possible, unless it's just for the fact that for whatever reason, whales decide to play whale games and they want to start a bull run towards incentive coin, which very much is that's very possible. But I think until an overall use case is assigned to it. Now people can speculate on that. And if you have scratchers, I'm like, hey, if this is something you decide to do, if you want to throw a scratcher at it, absolutely. I just have a hard time seeing a pump or seeing any sort of returns on it until a use case is assigned to it. And that's,
and I appreciate you playing the devil's advocate, if anything, but you did mention something that I did like. If we went back to that chart that I showed you, it only takes $115 to make you into a squid. So for the cats that have that little bit extra money, it would not be a bad play, if anything, especially if you do 115 right now and then wait to see how the 20-day cycle plays out. And if it double bottoms, then we could end up freaking putting more into it. I get where you're coming from, that you believe it may end up pulling off a Zen all the way down for a long period of time. But nevertheless, it is a decent scratcher, if anything.
Yeah, and I could respect that if somebody were to come in and say, yeah, this is definitely a scratcher. That's just me personally. As long as somebody's like, yeah, this is a scratcher play, we're not sure what would happen, there's no definite use case for this thing set up right now, then yeah, absolutely, I would agree with you that hey, everything's worth a shot. You know what I'm saying? So, and especially this isn't a coin that is created in the ecosystem that is secondhand. This is designed for Pulse Chain, is the incentive token. There was a reason it was created. It was purposefully created to be an incentive. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a Liquid Loans or a Hedron or something like that, where it's or Power City or whatever, where, you know, it's being put into the ecosystem. It's been around since day one, pretty much. So that's definitely, that's got it going for it. But I believe that there should probably be a use case, and I have a hard time seeing it pump without a use case. That's my only concern on it.
Yep, and I get where you're coming from. Now, how much more time do I have, Cats? I wanted to cover one more topic.
Probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Fabulous. I forgot the name of this recent film that came on Netflix, and it's that new movie that Obama went ahead and he funded. It was anybody know the name of the one?
I watched it, but I'm trying to remember what the name of it is, but I did watch it. It was about the end of the world and the cyber attack, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
And as we approach this upcoming election, if anything, Tim Pool did make a couple of points. It's almost as if the left is trying to incite some type of violence from the right, if anything. You know what I mean? There you go, mechanics, leave the world behind. And I think in spring of next year, we have that other movie called Civil War. You guys seen that?
Yeah.
I've seen the trailer for that. This just feels like a lot more than a coincidence for that. All this stuff is coming out now.
Yeah, like they're trying to induce something, you know? So, and I think the premise of that movie, the Civil War movie, and I don't foresee this happening, it's Texas and California unite to I don't see
as individual republics.
Yes,
right? It's Texas. They unite as
unless they're talking. And I'm like, that can't be a possibility unless they explain in the movie that what they're talking about is Northern California attached to Utah and all these other conservative states, all the way down to the borders of Texas, if anything. You know what I'm saying?
And then you got Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana. They formed the Florida alliance pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you have the loyalist states, and then you have the Western forces, which is Washington, Montana, stuff like that. And the loyalist is pretty much the flyover states and then the Northeast, pretty much. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, and it's almost as if they're trying to incite something, or they're trying to let us know that something may end up happening, so they could blame it on the right or the MAGA people, if anything. You know what I mean? Which I thought it was interesting, and I think it's an interesting topic. I do think that if World War does occur, it's not going to be like the way it was in World War II, if anything. I don't think it's going to be Axis and allies. I believe it's going to be individual scuffles, for the reason being that there's destabilization in the United States. What do you guys think?
I think it's got to be more having to do with cyber, actually. Because think about, you're not really going to have a physical war anymore. Nothing, at least like, you know, the First World Wars were. Because, I mean, quite frankly, we just wipe each other out. That's the long and short of it. And so what do we have to have war on now? I think, if nothing else, we're already in a world war. And the world war is financial at this point. And
it would be something new. They haven't decided it yet. Maybe in the future, in about 40 or 50 years, they will say that the next world war was cyber, as you mentioned. You know what I'm saying? I can't foresee if that was to happen. If the United States was to get destabilized, I could see a huge nautical war going on in Mexico. And then I would possibly see the Russian Federation expand westbound, try to conquer its former CONBLOC nations. You'd probably see Israel fighting off a lot of the Middle East, and you'd see a lot of power vacuums inside of the weaker Middle Eastern countries.
If you want to keep defining things as like conventional warfare, then yeah, all that stuff makes sense. But like you said, I think a lot of us here enjoy watching Timmy Pool. And one of the things he talks about is fifth generational warfare. The idea that you're going to start fighting war on a scale that's not like military arms or small arms or even fighter jets, but more of like using social media to push information to influence actual communities and groups of people. You can already see stuff like that going on right now on a smaller scale. As far as the idea of like individual nation states actually like shooting at each other, it's entirely possible. Don't get me wrong. I mean, as we've seen with both Ukraine and Israel stuff. And honestly, China is starting to ramp up operations near Taiwan, and there's a lot of posturing going around there. So there's absolutely real possibility for conflict. However, it's also important to consider the idea of using new methods for warfare. This is something that we should probably be ready for, considering that we're all crypto guys, and we're saying that money is trying to evolve onto a blockchain. So getting the idea that warfare could evolve into, like, I don't know, more psyops by the government, that seems totally reasonable to me.
General AI or AI general intelligence, AGI, sorry. Think about that.
Absolutely.
That's going to be the next evolution right there, and that's going to be happening within the next 5 to 10 years. That right there, control over the most powerful thing that has ever been created.
Yeah. And speaking of psyops and things of that nature, I think recently the head of the EU, or one of the heads of the EU, was talking about taking X off majority of those Western European countries, or Twitter off those Western European countries, because they do not want to come in compliance with what they want and the narrative they want to push.
Will, what are your thoughts?
I was just thinking there's a bunch of things that aren't going to, like, I'm trying to think of like what are the implications these are going to have on my day-to-day life, and what can I do and what will I do as a result of all these new things. And basically it comes down to like just trying to amass as much money as possible and gain as much sovereignty as possible, that these sort of big gigantic like country decisions don't necessarily play a super duper effective part in how I run my day-to-day life. Like if the United States starts making some silly laws, then okay, well, I guess I moved to Thailand or something, like Hex can lost in Asia. Or if shit's going crazy over there, then maybe go over to Portugal and visit the Hexkins over there or something. Like develop a gigantic network of people that live all over the place, that it'd be super duper easy to just be like, okay, well, I'm sick of this place, I'm going to this other one instead, as opposed to
You talking
sitting
about
in
the
one
war room, Will?
I'm talking about like sitting in like I'm talking about like finding people all over the world, and just like not staying in one spot of the world, bro.
Fellow
Yeah.
degens.
Like, it'd be
Degens
A little
unite.
bit of a
And
no bad capitalist, if you will.
Yeah, no bad capitalist. Yeah, kind of like the Andrew Henderson. Like I think that's probably something that like all of this war stuff has brought to mind. Is just like you should try and find other people, like, and I think that the cryptocurrency community is a fantastic way to do it, because like, well, I mean, those of us who end up like winning and having peanut brains and diamond hands and hold on to our bags long enough to take profits and stuff, like, we're going to make friends along the way, and we're going to probably have other rich friends in other places that know how to do the cryptocurrency stuff that we're interested in. So I think that like developing a solid network of cryptocurrency community and like crypto people would be super duper helpful in like escaping the rest of the world's craziness. Like Richard always talks about like making Hexaco, like that same idea, like the Hex Island or the Hex Nation or whatever, like that's the sort of thing I think of when I hear you guys talk about all of this like political turmoil and stuff. It's like, you don't have to stay in the United States forever if you don't want to. You don't have to stay in Mexico. You don't have to stay in Bali. You don't have to stay in Antarctica, right? There's options. So those are my thoughts that I'm thinking about while I'm listening to this. What do you guys think?
And I can tell you, so we are living in a world right now. This isn't make believe. This is 100% serious, where I can sit here in my home in Baltimore, Maryland, and I can get for an entire year, I can get an entire slate of news every single day. And my next door neighbor, depending on the lifestyle, the searching habits, and the social media that they have, where they can get an entire set of news as well for the next year. And it could be completely different. And that is all based on the algorithms of today. So we are living in a world right now that is vastly different than the 1860s, vastly different than the 1850s, for that decade leading up to the Civil War. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of people don't realize that during the American Civil War, it wasn't just in 1861, America decided to pop off, South Carolina decided to succeed, followed by Georgia and North Carolina, Virginia, and all these places. It wasn't a secession plan like that. It was an entire decade through the 1850s of chaos and of division, pretty much, that led up to what happened in the 1860s during that Civil War period. And we are in a vastly different situation right now, given the technology that we have. So I used to always wonder, I would hear, an opposing viewpoint, 2 or 3 years ago, where I was like, how do these people, are they ignoring the news? And in reality, depending what their search habit are, they could not get the news information that I get for an entire year based on the algorithms that they have in place. And that's the best way to describe the future moving forward, is there's going to have to be a true diligent search for the objective truth in everything, especially when you get into a world where you have deep fakes and all this different sorts of stuff. There has to be a vigilant search for the objective truth in every single aspect.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we'll have to see what happens.
Related, before I leave, related to what you were talking about, I'll leave you cats with this because I know you guys got to bring that one individual on that's yellow on the outside and white on the inside. My homie, well, I mean, I'm always memeing it up on Facebook. I love getting banned on Facebook. I love getting banned in general, you know. And my homie sent me a meme of AOC. It was an AOC deepfake, but in a porn movie. Like, what the heck, bro?
Yep.
Are you serious? And this was 2 years ago. Imagine the stuff now, man. Imagine how it's like now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I can tell you this before you hop off. You remember a couple weeks ago when like Elon Musk, who else was on it? Elon, Dave Smith was on it. Alex Jones was on it. Vivek Ramaswamy. You remember that Twitter Spaces, that really big Twitter Spaces that they had?
Yeah, the one where they caught Ramaswamy taking a piss.
Yeah, correct. Because knowing what I know about deepfakes, I saw that within like 6 hours of it going on YouTube. Just somebody had, downloaded it. I instantly wrote it off as a deepfake. I was like, there's no way Alex Jones, Vivek Ramaswamy, all these guys are getting together.
Elon Musk.
Sure enough, yeah. And then sure enough, it came out it was a legit Twitter space. You know what I'm saying? All these people did come on. So that right there in and of itself, I was like, I got fooled. Because I automatically
had the
thought
same thing happened to me too, Josh. The exact same thing. I'm like, this is AI all the way. AI all the way.
This is fake. There's no way you can put Tate, Alex Jones, Elon Musk, Dave Smith. You're not going to have these guys, Vivek Ramaswamy. You're not going to have all these guys on the same Twitter space.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? This is
team.
absolute garbage. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, that's it turned out to be real. So
yeah, hit me with your questions, Zenith. I want to hear it.
I got a shitcoin question for you here. So in 2024, I got 3 options. Which of these do you think is going to see the biggest price increase? We got 9 mil, 556, or 762 by 39.
The most common round in the world, that would be none other than 9 mil. The most common round in the world. In the States, it would be 22 long rifle.
I can see that. But that's not really a useful round.
22? Are you crazy? 22 is a fabulous round, bro. It's got multiple applications.
For training.
No.
You can shoot it. It hits things. You can use it.
Yeah. The number 1 killer in the United States, the number 1 round that's killed the majority of people in the United States. And it's not because it's the deadliest round, but because it's the most commonly owned, is the 22 long rifle.
Really?
Yep. Yes.
I'm going to have to look into that. That's interesting.
Yes. Criminals tend to use the 22 caliber round. Criminals usually can't really afford the high-speed guns, man. I mean, no criminal's going to go out there and spend frickin' $2,800 on a Knight's armament or $21 on a Daniel Defense to go do a drive-by. They're going to go buy that.
They're not going to do that, but I thought the Glock with the switch is now the new gangbanger tool.
Yeah, I mean, if they end up coming across a Glock, if anything, dude. But yeah, you're right. I get where you're coming from. That's what the media is pushing. You know what I'm saying. Just so you cats know, I think this upcoming Saturday I do have a show with Agent J from the DGen Roundtable.
There you go. Awesome.
Hey,
yeah,
let's go.
If you cats want to follow me, that would be dope, bro. He is going to be on my channel. We're going to do some boring ass technical analysis. Of course, we're going to make it fun because I like making that type of shit fun. Because I'm all about making that dinero. Let me go ahead and share my freaking link right here for you cats. If you want to shill it for me, that would be dope.
Yeah, man, we're definitely going to show the episode already and get everyone ready for that January 17th episode that we're going to have coming up with a couple other people. So, but definitely, bro, we're gonna put it out to our community. I know that for a fact, and we're all going to be on there watching. So, looking forward to it. Excited. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. Love your input, and we love having you in the group, man. Thank you so much.
Catch you guys on the flip side.
All right, brother.
We'll see you, Boogie.
Amigo.
All right. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. He always brings up really good topics of conversation, and it's always like, oh, crap, that time has passed. So
Boogie is one of the guys that has derailed the streams in the past, and we just go on a tangent for an hour and a half, and he could do it every time. We love just hanging out with him. It's just a good stream.
Yep.
All
right. So the next dude we're bringing on. All right. So I had said earlier that I would identify this person. This is the one person that I recognize the name, and I sort of This is the first time I've ever talked to him. I haven't talked to him before. Maybe I'd sent him a DM before, but I followed a lot of his stuff because I know he's been to a couple CMC meetups. But this is the one person that I recognized prior to meeting everyone. So
I will
go
say
ahead and,
he's a hell of a dude, man. I met him in real life. What a bro. Go ahead and bring him on, dude.
I can't wait to meet him in real life, and I just can't wait for it. So, without being said, Angry Trinky, what's up, buddy? What's going on?
Hey, good evening. How's everyone doing today?
We got the
What's up,
angry
Twinkie?
Twinkie in here. He's like ready to go.
Yeah. Audio level's good.
Yeah, bro, you sounded great. Sounded great.
Dude, you sound
We'll say
butter.
you're a little low, just a little low.
All right, let me see if I can bring this up a bit.
I think my question that I have, and I think everyone's wondering, when are you going to start streaming, doing your own thing, man?
Yeah. So, great question. A little better on the audio, coming a little hotter. Cool. All right, appreciate that. Thanks for the feedback. So, getting ready to launch my channel. I've had the opportunity to meet several of y'all previously at some of the different CMC meetups. Real pleasure running into a number of folks in Vegas. So, quick bit of background about myself, and then we'll kind of get into what's coming for myself and like. Without super outing myself on all fronts, I work in medical information systems. That's my daytime gig. In a prior lifetime, I was a professional musician, made my living teaching, playing guitar, doing some session work and some other stuff. Never won my Grammy, but it's all good. You know, made a great living, acquired a number of stories, which I will not share on stream today, but catch me at some of the meetups and maybe I'll run through some of those. So I was thinking to myself, hey, you know, as far as hopping on the DGen Roundtable stuff today, what did I want to talk about? And I was kind of going back and forth because, you know, it's a little informal. And I figured, all right, without turning it into the Twinkie show in the grand scheme of things, I just want to talk at very high level about some of the stuff that I am looking at and paying attention to, kind of coming down the pipeline for next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and the like. So super high level. A lot of this is informed by my basically, I've worked in medical information systems for almost 2 decades at this point in time, implementing assorted informatics software, bioinformatics software, largely for hospitals across North America, some global installations elsewhere, stuff in Germany, Japan, Brazil, so on and so forth. So if I look at what I think is coming, obviously, we talk a lot about cryptocurrency, but crypto, the currency aspect of it, that is based on an underlying layer, distributed ledger technology, of which blockchain is one incarnation of it. There are other incarnations of it. I may get a little loose and use terminology interchangeably as far as like blockchain, DAG, whatever. Forgive me on there. Again, just talking about DLT, distributed ledger technology. So if I look at that underlying tech, and for those not familiar with something like the compound annual growth rate, I'm going to take a quick detour on that. It's a representational figure that describes the rate at which an investment would have to grow every year, basically, and I'm straight up ripping this off Investopedia, every year at the same rate in order to achieve a certain growth target over 2 year, 5 year, 10-year type time span. So factoring that and taking a look at those different things, it is estimated that DLT blockchain type solutions, not necessarily just crypto, but the underlying tech itself is going to have a compound annual growth rate of 56% plus to something like 90% over the next 7 to 8 years. So what's going to really drive that? Investment in different technologies, certainly applied usage of those technologies, banking, security, payments, smart contracts, digital identities, and things we haven't even thought of. If you look at the overall growth in those different areas and those elements, really services, based on my initial preliminary research, is going to see some of the highest growth. Of course, you'll start to see places like retail, e-commerce, government adopting this. And we talked about CBDCs, digital identities, all those things are coming. All right. So we talked a little bit about, again, DLTs on this one. Now let's pivot over a little bit to crypto. So conservative estimates are increase for market cap, something like 5x to 100x over the, like, let's say, again, the next few years out through 2030. If you look at some current trend lines, and I'll throw up some links in chat as I wrap up my talk, and like, I certainly encourage everyone to pull up some stuff by Boston Consulting Group. I've had the opportunity to work with them in the medical space. They do their due diligence and then some. They publish a bunch of free reports. long story short, we're on trend to have 1 billion users in the crypto space by 2030, if not sooner. And that's just looking at some trend lines. So if you actually start to map stuff out and take a look at where we are in this adventure that is crypto, thinking to things like, okay, adoption of the internet, adoption of smartphones, these things set the stage for the evolution of blockchain and crypto technologies. We are roughly at the same point in that arc where things like our future equivalents of Google, PayPal, eBay, Netflix, Tencent, those either exist today and we just don't know it, or they are in the process of being built. A few other interesting stats based on my research that I've done over the last few weeks and months. It's, again, looking at some of the Boston Consulting Group studies. It's estimated that something like right now, ballpark, and of course we got the ETF coming for assorted cryptos and the like. You know, obviously everyone's really looking at that Bitcoin one, but once they get it, other things will inevitably follow. Currently, it's estimated that something like 0.3% of individual wealth is held in crypto as an asset, versus something closer to 25% plus being held as equities and stocks. So, and somebody, I'm sure, will cross-check my math and punch some holes in this, but assuming we have a relatively similar or complete shift, that's like an 83.33 multiplier on that. So very bullish on the crypto space, blockchain space, distributed ledger technology space. All right, I'm going to take a pause there. Anyone got any early questions before I kind of get in the next section?
So kind of what you're talking about right here is actually what I've been looking at when it comes to like, say, Sami, right? He's really big on his whole like dark prophecy theory, where he's thinking that as of right now, the large institutions are going to be rugging the normal buyers, right? I would almost agree with that, because if they do that, his point is that then everyone's going to be asking for more regulation, and that's how the governments can and large institutions can regulate things to their advantage. I think after that, that's when we would get a super cycle where everything kind of breaks and we go up a lot faster, a lot more than we ever should have in the first place. Now, that is one theory, but the other theory is that I've been looking at is that these institutions cannot be rugging people, simply because this is going to be their first try at, you know, oh, we can safely get in, we can trust these companies. Oh, wait, they just wrecked us, you know? So I think everything's going to go smooth. It's going to work properly. I mean, with everything you threw out there, these are all financial advisors saying, hey, here's all the stats, here's everything that's going on, and now here's what we're expecting. Now imagine if all these guys get wrecked with all their stats. They're never going to trust crypto ever again. So I think it has to go according to plan, has to go according to the stats that you've been throwing out there. And then in the next cycle, that's going to, now that everyone has tried it and they did safely follow along with all the stats, and it's like, oh, everything's good. Then that's when the true pouring comes in. And that's when you start talking about like 100xing. So let's look at it this way, right? You 10x overall crypto cap this cycle, right? And then maybe you 50x it the next one. And that's going to be right around 2030. And all the entire time, they're fixing these regulations all throughout the whole process, especially probably come the next bear market when they'll really start ramping it up, you know? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, very much agreed on this. So one of the things I periodically look at is Nakaflow.io. For those not familiar with it, you can punch it in. Nakamoto coefficients, basically measure of how decentralized something is in the grand scheme of things. And what they do is they record previous value versus current value. So you can pull that up at your convenience. I believe the current one on the number one leader, I want to say, is Pulse Chain. Don't hold me to that. So that's pretty exciting on that front. Yeah, definitely keep your eyes peeled on that, because as the larger institutions start to sweep in, they're just going to have far more economic mass and deployable capital than you or I as an individual investor will have. It's unquestionable. It's only a matter of time before they start really gobbling up the vast majority of some of these different assets, or at least getting it under their control. And directly, sure, we talk a lot about ownership and custody and self-custody. I would say at a very high level, and I encourage people to think about their long-term tax planning on things in general, be you an individual or these companies, corporations, I'd argue you don't necessarily have to own it or hold it if you control it. So to that end, personally, take a look at things like trusts, putting different assets into the holdings of trusts, make yourself assorted executors and beneficiaries and the like, so that you have control, but don't necessarily need to own it. And your jurisdiction and the like may vary. I know you've had some folks, Will's mom, I believe, wrote a wonderful book on working with the IRS. So yeah, I'll certainly defer to that side of the house for the expertise. I think Zenith's got a question.
Hey, Quickie, just to clarify, when you're talking about controlling but not owning, we're still talking about not your keys, not your crypto, right? Which is get it off the centralized exchange and into a wallet. Whether or not who owns the wallet, that's a good question, and some definite options for like legal structures or business structures, but get it off of a centralized exchange and understand that Robinhood is not real DeFi.
Absolutely. And great question and great point of clarification. Yeah, look, if you're tuning into this stream, if this is your first exposure to crypto, if you've been around for a while, pretty please make sure you have custody of that wallet. You have your keys. If it ain't your keys, it ain't your crypto.
I just wanted to, I just want to hit on a key point here is that when we're getting into this space, when we're investing this money, we can't be doing it with a short-term outlook. We need to be looking into, the next cycle. We need to be looking into the 2030s. That's where our goal should be. It's so easy to get caught up in the get-rich-quick sort of mindset about crypto, but just what Twinkie said there, and that is case in point that when you get into this isn't any different than if you were going to be investing in the stock market or investing in real estate. All right, you're getting into this with a long-term plan, with a 5, 10, 15, 20-year game plan, because that's really when you're going to see the compounding interest, and that's really when you're going to see the multiplication on the money that you put in. You can buy and sell with the market, and you can do that sort of thing to maximize the growth of your money. But at the end of the day, regardless of whether you're buying and selling, how often you're swing trading and whatnot, the long-term mindset needs to be 2030s, 2040s, and so on. Correct me if I'm wrong, Twinkie, but that's pretty much what that lines up perfectly with what the data that you're seeing and all that information.
Yeah, most definitely. Let me fly through a couple other quick bullet points here, and then I'm happy to get out of the way and turn it over to the next guest. So you were mentioning some things about AI, machine learning, and like, basically, as far as I am personally concerned, we have gotten to the point where if I am hearing it as a secondary broadcast in any way, shape, or form, be it through the internet, YouTube, on the radio, if I am seeing it on a screen and it is not my own eyes in person, it is basically no longer trustworthy. Sure, I might get it from a friend or somebody, hey, this cool thing, whatever. Yeah, the deepfakes are getting out of control and they're only going to get better. For some laughs, I encourage everyone to check out Trump or Biden on Twitch. It's like pseudo-scripted AI. It takes prompts from the audience, and you will watch AI Trump debate AI Biden. They get into hilarious shit like sucking toes and eating ice cream and all sorts of madness. They get a little off the rails, but and it's fake because Joe's never sounded better. So come back around to a few other quick ones here. AI. So I'm just going to quote some growth rates here as far as like machine learning, AI growth rates and investments in those spaces. Compound growth rate of something like 33 to 38%. We've seen things like Chat GPT. Let me throw this out to the DGen team and the audience. So shout out to Hex Monkey and Boogie, since we were having some conversations on this in Vegas and offline as well. I think about things like, all right, we talk about NFTs and like, well, NFTs, you can encapsulate things. We've looked at it as, okay, imagine like a deed, a discount card, a membership club. Well, what if you could do something like an NFT, the AI personality? So maybe I've got the personality, my NFT personality is Genghis Khan, for example. But I also have an NFT for the actual data set and data structures. Maybe I have asked my AI digital assistant for things like, I don't know, cooking, how to make a delicious holiday meal out through, hey, I need to know things about the tensile strength of carbon fiber under these conditions, or compression or shear strength of a beam or aluminum. Well, all of a sudden, I have an AI bot digital assistant who's got the personality of Genghis Khan, but this amassed knowledge, maybe some sort of area of specialty of take your pick. Now, I can sell off my personality for that NFT or sell off the data set. So some interesting stuff coming out there. There's a project out there, Alethea AI. Again, I'll throw some of these links in chat as we go. And last one I'm going to leave everyone with, and then I'll get out of the way here. Again, coming back to my background working in healthcare, we know huge sectors of the population are essentially below replacement population. What does this really mean? Nothing great in the grand scheme of things. How are you going to prop that up? You need a certain level of technological advancement. Who knows what's going to happen to effectively fiat currencies and taxation on that front? Long story short is there isn't any great viable means to address a lot of those populations without ultimately rationing care. So we do need advancements in medical technology on that front. Where does all this come together for myself? Personally, I am watching the intersection of things like blockchain, crypto, artificial intelligence, and healthcare. So I'll post up some diagrams and the like. Shout out to the DGen Roundtable Telegram chat. You can see some graphics. I'll throw some links and a bunch of other information in there. So if you want the secret sauce, please get in a Telegram and join the DGen Roundtable group.
Love it, man.
Mikey.
Love it. Hey, when you decide to get that channel up and running, please throw the link up in the Telegram channel. Let everybody know. Excited for you, man. I think it's long overdue. I think you've needed to have a channel for a while now. You post some really good content. You've been behind the scenes for a minute. So, having your voice out there, I think it's only going to embolden the content that's out there on YouTube. And I think it's definitely time for you to start your own channel and start rocking and rolling, dude.
Let's make it happen. Thanks for having me as a guest. Very much appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, all.
Merry Christmas.
All right, brother. Merry Christmas. Have a good
Christmas, bro.
Whew. How do you follow that up? Holy
dude,
smokes.
I was so lost that whole time. I gotta watch that on the replay 4 or 5 times, I think.
He's talking a lot about big time macros, and I would like to comment on the last thing he talked about there. If we got a second, Josh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so part of what he's talking about is GDP growth, and one of the major factors of GDP growth for any country, which is ultimately how good the country is growing, monetarily wise, as well as not being a third world country, right? Becoming a first world. So one of the biggest things is population growth, right? Ultimately, what you're looking at is coming down to how much production do you get per calorie of humans, right? And so when you're looking at that, right now, it's calculated out that you need at least, 2 people being born to 1 person dying, ultimately. And that's kind of the in general. They would preferably like 3 people being born to 1 person dying. Now, unfortunately, most first world countries are sitting right around like 1.5, 1.2, depending on which country. That clearly means that we're not growing at all as any kind of countries, so we're going to go into negative GDP, which is really bad. So ultimately, when you're looking at it, it's like, okay, so what can we do to help this along then? And for the most part, it's looking like, because of the luxuries of first world countries and technologies that we currently have, it is nil and void. We are not going to be going out there and having babies like rabbits, like we used to. We're not going to be doing that anymore. We don't need 10 kids because 5 of them are going to end up getting kicked by the horse and die. That's not a thing anymore. So when we're presented with this major problem, this is where AGI comes in again, because once you start putting AGI into an actual robotic suit, right, a robotic human, next thing you know, we have, instead of taking 18 years to add another human being to the GDP of the entire country, now we can just build on an assembly line an infinite amount of these robots that we want to. So this is where the growth is going to be happening here real soon. And this is also why it's very controversial right now in AI of slowing down, but also continuing to do as much as we can to speed it up. So there's a big argument going on. The whole fiasco that happened over at OpenAI with whatever his name was, the CEO, if you could remind me of his name, getting fired and all that, though, was because
Sam Altman?
Sam Altman, thank you. Yeah, Sam Altman got fired because his board was saying, we need to slow down. This is going way too fast, because they confirmed Q-Star, which is the birth of general intelligence. And just to put that in quick perspective, artificial intelligence is saying, hey, 2 + 2 = 4. That's going to be the answer. Yes, you're correct. That is going to be the answer. Cool. But we as humans look at that and go 2 + 2 = 4, because, if I have 2 things and then I add 2 more to them, there's going to be 4 of them, right? We have an understanding, like an outside understanding of the mathematics that these AI robots, or sorry, the artificial intelligence doesn't understand. They understand it, quite frankly, as just numbers that make sense if they equal them out this way. They don't understand why the numbers equal that way, how important it is to the physical world. So general intelligence is that consciousness coming alive saying, oh, now I understand why it's important to do the calculations like this. So
gotcha. Good stuff. All right, real quick. I just need some housekeeping stuff real quick. Zenith, are you hopping on or are you going to hop out?
I am still good for a bit. I can keep going, man.
Yeah,
I just had
perfect.
to take the helmet off because I'm starting to fucking overheat over here.
I hear you. I'm about to take this off too. All right, Brendan, what's going on, man? Appreciate you joining stream. I know you only got a couple minutes. Did you want to just hop in real quick, or are you hanging out for a minute?
Yeah, I'll just be here for a couple of minutes. Let me just say hello to everybody. Merry Christmas. You guys are killing it. I have you on the background as I make some Christmas meals, as I finish my, last minute wrapping and everything else that I saved to the last minute. It's been a great stream. Twinkie, awesome. Boogie, great surprise. Always bring an alpha. I love that. One of the things that you said, Josh, and Twinkie kind of alluded to, and I've talked about this a lot, is look, yes, you have to have a plan for this cycle, but this cycle isn't what's going to make you rich. Crypto isn't a get rich quick scheme, right? This is a long-term change of how you work, how you mentally prepare, and how you actually change your life for the better. This isn't like, hey, I'm going to spend 2 years and I'm going to get rich. You might make some money, but you can't expect to be able to quit your job unless you get lucky in 2 years or 4 years or one bull cycle. So take what you've learned and apply that to your life for the long haul. Because again, if you just get rich quick and you don't actually make meaningful changes to your life, that money's not going to mean anything because you're going to end up blowing it. Most people that win the lottery end up bankrupt, okay? Crypto lottery can also make you bankrupt if you don't have a plan in place for the future. If you don't have an idea of what's going to make you better yourself, better your life, and what you're going to do for a plan in the short term and a plan in the long term. It's really, I can't emphasize this enough. This isn't like hey, this is a one bull run thing. This is like a bull run. Get ready for the bear market to get kicked in the balls again, and then be ready to put your fiat and your money back into the market at the right time when it seems like the world's telling you to do otherwise. It doesn't get easier, okay? Buy lows, sell highs. It seems really simple, but it takes a lot of work, hard work, and a lot of people in your life to tell you when you're thinking the wrong thing. Buy low, sell high seems easy, but this is a lifestyle change, okay? This isn't just a get rich quick. And if you think it's a get rich quick, then you're in the wrong industry, because even if you get rich quick, you're going to end up poor again. It's about changing who you are and bettering your life.
Great feedback. Love the feedback, man. Absolutely awesome feedback. All right, let's cut it off.
That's all I got. I got to run.
Oh, you hopping out?
Yeah, it's 5 minutes, bro.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Merry
Thanks
Christmas.
a bunch for your wisdom, Brendan. Appreciate that.
Man. You got
Appreciate it. Can't wait to have you back.
See you soon. See you Wednesday.
All right, man. See you, brother. All right. Give me one quick second to get this screen figured out. We're gonna add somebody in the special guest slot, and then we're gonna also add somebody to the panel here. So let me just get.
I was gonna say, should I rotate back normal? Would that be helpful?
You're good. You're good with where you are right now. All right.
Okay.
So first, I'm not going to play the intro for this individual because he's joining the panel. He's been on the stream umpteen times. He's pretty much one of the crew. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring him on. Mr. Gaines by Casey, you're on the panel, man. I'm not going to have you in the special guest slot because you're pretty much family at this point. So feel free to hang out for as long as you want to. And if you got to hop off, you got to hop off. So
right on, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
For sure. All right. But our next guest, all right, absolutely love the content that this person puts out. This individual has taken the time and really gotten to know our community, and super thankful for it. And just all the hard work this individual is doing, both on stream and behind the scenes, sets an example. And it's just awesome to have this person as a part of our community. Absolutely love it so much. So with that being said, welcome.
Oh, snap.
What's up, FJ?
What up?
Hello, everyone. How are
Merry
you?
Wild
Christmas.
SJ
Merry
appears.
Christmas.
I'm jingling all the way.
I like it. So we were talking earlier. We threw a couple things out about the coolest thing that they saw happen in 2023. We mentioned Pulse Chain launch. We mentioned Bitcoin and Ethereum have 2x'd since this time last year. Our community has been founded in 2023. If there's one thing about 2023 that shocked you or that excites you about moving into 2024, what would that be?
Oh, what a great question. Oh, man. I think just from being out there on the road with the Pulse Chain Tour, the fact that I just know we're so early. We're just so early. Like I talk about the fact that we're on the cutting edge of technology in so many different ways. And like not only first of all is just crypto in general, right? Like already something that not a lot of people either know about or can wrap their brains around. But the fact that where we sit within this space is absolutely the apex, in my opinion, of what crypto can do and should be doing and what DeFi is all about. So just like knowing that we're there, we're at this like precipice, and this, the snowball is already going and we are the core of it, right? Like that excites me more than anything. Like just knowing that this is just the beginning of something really, really awesome and that I have the opportunity to go out and share that with people and tell people, hey, there's another way, because being part of the rat race and living your life working for someone else, not great, not the best way to spend your time and energy, so it's a revolution for sure that I am definitely proud to be a part of. So that I'd say that's it.
I like it. Where are you spending the holidays? Being van life, you can be pretty much anywhere in the country. You could be in Mexico, you could be in Canada. Where are you spending the holiday season?
Yeah, so I have it for the last 16 years. My home base was Austin, Texas, but I grew up in Southern California. And I've decided after traveling a bit and figuring things out, I'm going to be based in Southern California for the next year. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm at my mom, parked outside my mom's house. So it's pretty convenient. It works out that I actually can park the bus here. So that's like really nice. And I get to spend more time with my family that, I've seen them over the years, but like my niece was a baby when I left for Texas and now she's 16 and I'm just like, who is this woman? Like it trips me out. So I'm very happy to be spending time here. And anyone in SoCal, hit me up. I love people and hanging out. And I'm always up for hanging out with Hexicans and Pulsicans. So.
That's so cool. That is so cool. Hey, Casey, how was vacation, man?
Oh, it was absolutely killer. Gotta say, man, it was fantastic. Yeah, we left on the 8th of this month and just got home last night around midnight. We were in Malaysia, saw Kuala Lumpur, Penang. Then we went to Phuket in Thailand and Phi Phi Island in Thailand. Then Singapore, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and Bangkok, Thailand.
That sounds like a fun time, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds
it was
phenomenal.
It was pretty good. It was a great time.
Did you guys just like backpack it, or did you guys have like itineraries at each location, or what did you guys end up doing?
So we were on a cruise.
Okay.
Yeah, 11-day cruise. So it was the first cruise I'd ever done. So I thought it was awesome, but talking to a bunch of people, including we met actually the kids, two guys, a guy and girl that were the kids of the former VP of operations for Norwegian Cruise Lines for like 20 years. And even they were like, yeah, this ship is kind of like not great. So coming from them, I thought it was a pretty even a biased opinion that the ship wasn't like what you'd get for a cruise line, but the itinerary was top notch. So we had like 2 sea days, but the most of them we just got off the boat and explored everywhere. So did a little bit of some interesting experience dealing with some people that we found for taxi drivers. They have in Thailand, if any of you ever heard of like a tuk-tuk, it's like a mini like small car with just a wide open back. We took like an hour drive in one of those across the island, then an hour speedboat out to Phi Phi Island. So yeah, it was some good stuff.
That's cool, man. What about 2023 gets you excited about 2024?
So two things, a little bit piggybacking off of what SJ said. I really liked everything that Richard Hart has done with being able to run Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse X, and the bridge off your computer. When I first saw him, like a lot of people, I think I was like, he's kind of a douchebag, but really very smart. And seeing what he's done now, I don't know how much of that has been premeditated or how much of that was like adapting to what he's had to be faced with. But it just gives me more and more conviction in like believing in his products and what he's building and his vision. So being able to just run it from your computer, I thought is super cool. It feels very, very innovative. And as SJ was saying, also like very early, like this is going to be something that I think like now we're like a small segment of the population is like, oh, we can do this, understand what it means. But I think in the future, we're going to look back at this and be like, holy shit, this guy was like doing some crazy stuff very, very far ahead of his time. So that is something that makes me excited. And then two, the more that I network with crypto people and having gone to like the meetup and just getting to know you guys more, you know, full disclosure, I always kind of thought like, I've been very excited to have met like a lot of people in crypto that are like very cool dudes that I would hang out with or do hang out with or want to hang out with more. Where at first, yeah, I will. But at first, like, yeah, I mean, it might just be like a shitload of like computer nerds, which I think we all have a little bit of that in us, right, to get into crypto. But just, I don't know, to me, a lot of really cool people has been very, not a relief, but a very nice surprise. And I think coming from like with Miguel and Charlie's kind of red pill of finance, red pill lens, that makes a lot of sense that what they've built, I'm very happy to have found and become a part of. So
I like it.
Work, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. All right, panel, I'm going to open it up. We've only got SJ for a couple minutes. So do you guys have any questions for her?
I got a question for both of these folks, actually. I would argue that these are our two live event folks, and I want to know, what are the events that you're looking forward to in 2024 the most? Is there like a specific meetup or thing you're doing?
You guys don't like this? Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so we are still trying to get Miguel on the phone to confirm. I know that he's into the idea. We just have to flesh out the details. PulseChainTour.com, March 6th through 9th. We are doing a event with him and his group. So it's going to be a, the Citadel. Is that what his?
That is the group. Yes.
Citadel Moon Gang. Yeah.
Yeah. Meets the Pulse Chain Tour. We are coming together to do a whole 3-day series of events. VIP. I think the Rogue Bunnies might be involved. It's going to be real awesome. So that's the first thing I'm looking forward to, and I'm going to throw one more thing in there. We're going worldwide this year. So the second thing I'm super stoked on is we're doing a cruise in June from Venice to Greece and back. So
wow, okay.
Oh yeah, maybe I should take my first outside of United States vacation like that.
Please do. There's going to be a lot of really cool. There's a whole 6-week stint in Europe that's going to happen. Hex Lion is heading that. Hex Lion and Black Hexagon are working together for the 6-week European part of it. But RG and myself are going to go there for a couple of the events and meet up with them. So
hell yeah! Shout out to Black Hexagon. She's definitely a behind the scenes person, but she does a massive amount, especially for like the Hexagon Pulse Chain community. Correct me if I'm wrong, but even a lot of the Pulse Chain tour for 2023, she was behind a lot of that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, like she did like 90% of all the booking and getting the venues squared away and booking the reservations for everything. If it wasn't for her, we would not have done this tour. Like it wouldn't have gone the way it did, as well as it did. Like she literally had the wheels turning the whole time. Like she's really the boss. Don't tell RG.
Absolutely. I forgot the name of the team that she works with, but those guys are absolutely professionals and cannot say enough good things about them. Yeah, exactly. Casey, are we going to be hanging out in Vegas this year or what?
I think so, man. I think so. Is there dates yet for that or no?
I don't think we have dates yet for a CMC meetup, but if there is, or is the March dates, are those the official CMC meetup, or is that just a Citadel thing?
I think it's a separate, like, they're gonna. I think they might be doing a different meetup, but I don't know. Like, this could be both. I'm not sure. That's why we have to like link up with him and figure out how big this event is going to be.
For sure, we'll definitely try to ask Dollar Cost Crypto, but worst comes to worst, yeah, we'll go to Vegas twice. Why not?
Right?
Yeah, and in the words of one of my business mentors, Zenith, I'll say this to you: good enough, good enough. I'll see you there.
Hell yeah!
Excellent, I love it.
Will, you got anything, bud?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I thought that we were gonna have the beginning of the year meetup in Vegas. I'd never heard anything about it. I know it was on the table, but I don't think it ever came to fruition. But that was all that I had.
I had something written down about it. Just said Vegas Moon Gang New Year's ? But that's what I got with it.
Basically, yeah.
I have no details and will not be there at New Year's at this point. But
yep. Yeah, it's only a couple days away now, so too late.
All right, Nate, you got any questions, bud?
No, I'm all good. And you guys are out here enjoying it. I really appreciate spreading the word of Pulse Chain. It is a lot of fun. So I wish that more people would come to know it and understand it. And yeah. And Gainesville, Casey, man, you are lucky as all hell getting out there on that vacation, going out there to South what do you call it, Malaysia and all that. Thailand. I gotta get out. I gotta get out of the United States and go on some kind of vacation here soon enough.
You should. Yeah. My for anyone that is listening that's thinking about it, Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur is pretty cool. It's a pretty developed city. The country itself is definitely I don't know if I would say third world, but definitely developing nation for sure. So there's a little bit of culture shock. Kuala Lumpur is a pretty developed city. There's a lot of cool stuff to see there, but Phuket, Thailand is you could have a lot of fun there. Allegedly, big party area in Koh Phi Phi Island. It's spelled Phipi, but they don't have the PH as an F sound, so it's pronounced PP. That's very, I would say, must-see place.
One of the things that I've been kind of looking to do actually was to move away from the United States, right? Yeah. And when I was looking at the best places in the world to go move to, Malaysia and Singapore was actually one of those spots that ended up popping up. And in looking over like all the laws and the taxes and stuff like that, I was like, you know what? I think Malaysia, right? Being in Malaysia, South Malaysia, the main peninsula, right down by Singapore, might actually be the best possible spot in the world if you're a crypto guy.
Yeah, I would say definitely visit first. Maybe spend 2 weeks there, 3 weeks, and just see if it's what you like. So I thought that I was gonna like Vietnam a lot more, but I think if I never went to Vietnam again, I would be good.
A little hot.
Nothing against Vietnamese people or anything, but basically to me it was like I'll speak freely on it. It just felt like a more dilapidated, less fun, dirtier Thailand. Like everything you could get in Thailand was just worse in Vietnam. And then I started realizing that, every place I see the Vietnamese flag, I see the hammer and sickle flag. And then I realized, it is a communist country, full blown. I was like, that's putting two and two together. Maybe that's not a great, maybe that explains something about why the country's not as good. But again, the people were great. But the country itself, I mean, if you're looking at one or the other, I thought Thailand was way better. And you get the same vibe, same looks, just nicer and just better, more fun experience.
I got a question for SJ before she has to punch out. Just real quick, SJ. So when we had you on stream, you guys hadn't done the Phoenix meetup yet, and you guys hadn't done the cruise yet. Now, I know Zenith came out there to the Phoenix meetup. You guys had a good time and all that stuff, and you guys did the cruise. How did Phoenix go? How did the cruise go? And then sort of how does that excitement and how did that reception leave you feeling about 2024 when you guys go in, to 2024 and you're thinking about all the stuff in that aspect?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm making connections just now as you said that, because the Phoenix event is going to be very similar vibe to the first event of the year, which is just going to be a totally open, no ticket. I mean, you can sign up via email, but it's no cost involved. Tailgate party on the 7th of January at SoFi Stadium. It's the Chiefs versus the Chargers, and RG3 is going to be barbecuing again. And so is, I believe, Black Crypto. So Black Hexican's husband, her whole family is going to be out there. So we're doing a huge tailgate party. Phoenix was just, it was great. Like, it felt like a family barbecue kind of vibe, and like really just getting to know people on a deeper level that I'd seen before, meeting new people. It was really nice. Like, we just all kind of hung out in this, it was an apartment community area, but it was like really nice, like very like well done, and it was really fun having RG cook for everybody. So that was like, it felt like family, right? Like, it felt like a family gathering, and that's how the first, that first event's going to get kicked off as well. And then the cruise, like in juxtaposition, right? Like, I love that is the underlying core of these events, right? Because that's who we're nearly always going to see, right? Is that core group of family Hexicans that are always at the events, that are, super just supportive and always want to be there. We can almost guarantee at these events all over the country, all over the world, there's going to be a core group of people that are like family that are going to come out, right? And then the cruise was just like so like that, but like to an extreme. And then on top of that, the coolest thing on things like the cruise. Okay, so I didn't think I was going to like the cruise. I was not a fan of the first one. And it was my first cruise ever. And this was the Hex cruise last year. And I was just like, oh man, like I almost didn't go on this cruise. In fact, when I was with you guys, I probably said I wasn't going, or I might not have said I wasn't going. I just kind of like kept that on the down low. And then it turned out that like a room opened up and something fell off. And I was just like, okay, all right, I guess I'm going to go. And I'm so glad that I did, because it totally changed my mind on cruises. You really have to put like, you got to take advantage of what the cruise is offering you, like the first time I didn't know what to expect. And I'm thinking I'm going to spend all this time in the Bahamas and this, that, and the other thing, but it's a whole different vibe, like you just got to kind of like dive into the cruise atmosphere and just have fun with it. Like, do one of the bookings that they recommend when they're like, hey, we're going on onto shore here, these are the things you can do. So just taking advantage of the options that the cruise gives you really makes it made it a whole different experience. And then having so many people on in such a small space for such an extended period of time, you wouldn't like, we onboarded people that all over the place. Like, so many of us had so many conversations with so many people on that ship that, I mean, I onboarded a waiter that had, that served us, because you see them night after night after night if you go to the same restaurant, right?
Because you can't escape. You're stuck with us.
Yep, exactly. And people want to know too. People are curious, like, oh, what's, we're all wearing lanyards, and or we all have these shirts on with the logos and things, not all this. There was one day we all had the same shirt that was like the cruise shirt. But, it's like people become curious. They want to know, who's this group? What are you doing? What are you guys interested in? So that, like, the dichotomy of those two types of events and the feeling of both of those types of events, that's what's getting me super stoked for this next year. Because not only is it going to be different because price is going up, right? Like, and whether it does, or, I mean, whether it skyrockets or moons or whatever, we're obviously still doing it either way. You know what I mean? Like, we did it through the most brutal part of a bear market, like nothing can stop us now kind of feeling. So we learned a lot, and I'm really excited to be able to take what we've learned in terms of being able to reach a broader audience, being able to speak outside of our echo chamber and get people's interests that may not even know what crypto is. Right? Like, that's what's exciting me is that we now have, I think, more of an opportunity to speak to a greater group of people and get more interest in this whole ecosystem and in DeFi. Yeah.
I kind of feel like your theme music should be "Don't Stop Me Now" from Queen.
Oh, yes.
Just have that going on the band the whole way down.
I love
it. That is awesome. That it's going to be super exciting to see. And you like I said when I introduced you, you've fallen into this group that we have so well, and just the banter and even throwing out the invite that you did for effing Hangout on Friday, and just, all that, you're hanging out in our community chat and all that good stuff. And we can't thank you enough for welcoming us in. And I'm excited to see, how, I'm excited about 2024. That's what I'm going to say. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be awesome. Things are going to get solidified. Everything's going to grow, and it's just going to be awesome to see. So, did you need to hop off, or did you want to keep hanging out for a minute?
I do need to go. Yeah, my
Okay.
some of my family's here, and so
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I'm gonna let you say your goodbyes, and then I believe Casey has to hop off too. So, but SJ, go ahead. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate all of y'all. And every Friday that effing hangout happens. So you guys are welcome to come on any Friday. If RG can't run it, I'm gonna try and be running it. But like that's something he never wants that to go down. Even when we're on tour and like if we're busy that night, like we're trying to find people to come like step up and like take over and be able to run those nights on Fridays. So the more guests we have, the more people that become comfortable with like being on that stream, the better. And it's open to everyone. So check it out. Effing Hangout, Discourse Syndicate, and I love, again, I'm grateful for y'all and what you're doing. The DJing Roundtable, it's unique. It's wonderful. I love the setup. The panel thing is just so cool. And it's really something that the community needs, right? Because we need all kinds of streamers, all kinds of content, and you guys are killing it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Casey, what you got coming up, man? What can we look forward to? I did mute you, so you might have to unmute.
The hotkeys.
There we go. Gotcha.
That's right. Yeah, sorry. As I told Will, I was absolutely smashing on these bastards on my mechanical keyboard right now.
Yep, the keyboard.
Man, more of the same. Just still building the businesses and the projects. Josh, I spoke with you a little bit about those in private. Hopefully we can do some kind of collaboration on that coming for the future. And I actually spoke with Will's younger brother. I'm looking to start a podcast myself. I've got a lineup of guests and topics and kind of just narrowing in my focus for that. So that's something that I'm hoping that I'll get launched in the early part of 2024. January is a little bit busy for me. I'm going to be in Puerto Rico with one of these college teams that I train for about, 10 to 12 days. I'm leaving on the 3rd. And then after that, I've got 1 or 2 weekends away. But then in the middle of that, I'm going to be talking a lot with Sam and just trying to get maybe some of you guys too, I can talk to you about just upgrading my mic and my camera a little bit and just a few things with stream. I'd like to do it live, I think is the way to go. I just talk with you guys about your experience and a few technical things just so I know I'm not going to wait till it's perfect to do the first one, but if I can, preempt any roadblocks or bumps that I might come across. So it'll be all about fitness and interviewing people with unique fitness journeys and things of that nature. I've had the pleasure to meet a lot of people with very interesting backgrounds that train for different sports, different events, or with different injuries or metabolic conditions. So that's where I think I'm going to focus and put that on there. So I'll get hopefully more content on the internet. I'm a little bit more slack with that than I'd like to be or that I need to be with today's age and the digital age and the attention economy. So looking to forge my way in that a little bit and hopefully just finish packing my bags and then letting it ride and making a shitload of money.
There you go, bro.
I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to having you on in 2024, man. It's just, us growing together, dude. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, awesome. Everything that I've talked to you guys a little behind the scenes about too, with what you want to do with the channel and the community, I think is incredible. So happy to be a part of it and that you guys find value in what I do and what I have to say. So I'm going to continue to level myself up so that I can grow with you guys and help you guys grow and just keep it mutually beneficial circle.
Love it, man. Love it.
All
right, brother. Have
Merry
a good Christmas.
Guys.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
You as well.
We'll catch you. All right.
See you
Merry
guys.
Christmas, my man.
See you. All right. I'm going to bring on another regular who's, I'm just going to bring him into the panel and he can rock and roll with us till the end of the show. Everyone here knows him pretty well. Everyone here is already kind of like, hey, why isn't this guy already on the panel? But I'm not even going to play the intro for him. But we got Mr. Niles Jenkins. I'm going to go ahead and throw him on the panel. And then we're going to also play another intro for our final guest, who's also going to take it the distance with us as well. So let me go ahead and get that music queued up. Here we go. Mr. Hurt, what's going on, guys? How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, guys. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's Christmas morning where you
Christmas.
are, isn't it?
Merry
It's
Christmas.
4:30 in the morning, right? Merry Christmas.
Yeah, man. It's 4:30 in the morning. It's in South Africa. It's been raining, but we're glad to be alive.
I like it. Glad
to be part of the DJ and Christmas.
Yeah, man, for sure. Hey, I got to hit the bathroom real quick. Y'all get the conversation going. I'll be right back. So you guys do.
Dude, I had no idea you're in South Africa. Oh shoot, crap. I'm trying to think of the main city I know in South Africa is Johannesburg. Are you in that one, or is it a different place?
Yeah, I'm in Johannesburg, close to there. It's
okay. Excellent.
It's been quite sunny here for the past few days, around about 37 Celsius. So it's been good.
Holy smokes, that's a I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I'd have to do
76 in Fahrenheit, right?
I'd have
That
to do
is
the math,
90 degrees. That is 100 degrees right there. That's
Jesus,
toast.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Whoa.
been crazy. I've been driving around with the
Fucking
top
man.
down.
You want to take a vacation up here to Minnesota where we average right around 10 degrees?
Holy hell.
Bro, that is awesome. Your accent totally makes sense now. I was trying to figure out what your accent was last time we had spoken, and I was like, man, I cannot pin it. It sounds like half British and half something else, but South African. That makes total sense now. That's awesome, dude. You're the first South African I've ever met. That's crazy cool.
Man. First time.
Crazy
So
cool.
Hurt, got a question for you. Do you guys have any Christmas traditions down in South Africa?
We got a few. Besides the fact that we eat like crazy, I think we eat the same way you guys eat at Thanksgiving, right? So you got about 4 courses, and then you still got all the desserts afterwards. So there's a lot of times where you see people just passed out on the ground, unable to move. That's kind of normal. Yeah.
Dang.
Wait,
so
passed out without alcohol?
Food?
Excuse me?
Passed out without any alcohol?
Oh, yeah, without alcohol. That's just food.
Love it.
So what's some traditional food that you guys have at Christmas down there?
We've got this thing called trifle. I don't know if you guys have that, but it's that's one of them. It's a combination of about 6 different desserts into one. So you make it the day before, you leave it in the fridge, and you top it off with cream or custard and cream, and it's got like layers of cream in between the different layers of dessert, topped it off with cream and some cherries, and like everyone goes crazy for that.
That sounds really dense and just heavy.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely. But I mean, it's one of those things that you save for Christmas because having it on a Tuesday after lunch is a bit too much.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's wild.
Yo, Niles, what's going on with you, man? Merry Christmas to you, buddy. It's not Christmas for you yet, but you haven't said much. How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, man. I'd be a fool to complain. Happy holidays to everybody. Good to see the gang.
Hell yeah, bro. So this is Sounds by Sino. So Niles, yeah, that I had realized that your tag on the bottom says something a little bit different. All I want to do is BTFD. And I don't know, I might be a little bit old, but what does that mean?
We know what that means, Will. Come on.
Buy the fucking dip. You gotta know.
Oh, buy the fucking dip. I know BTFU is back the fuck up. Buy the fucking dip. Yeah, you fucking A right, dude. Buy that goddamn dip, bro. I just spent pretty much my entire Christmas bonus on frickin' crypto and shit. So I have to eat ramen and no trifle for me in the near future. It's all frickin' beans and rice and stuff until I can financially recover from all this dip buying I've been doing.
There's worse things you could splurge on for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Niles, got a question for you, and then I want to bounce it over to Herc with the same question. So Niles, I'm going to come to you first. 2023, we've had a lot of cool stuff going on. What is one thing that you're super excited that happened in 2023 that you hope can carry over into 2024?
One thing that I think I would like to see carry over in 2024.
What gets you excited about 2024? Could it be seeing something that happened in 2023 that gets you excited about 2024? Something that already happened that you hopes that rolls over? Whatever.
One thing I'm definitely excited to see is the way that the RH ecosystem is going to play out. I would love to see us just shoot up and kind of all the pain and rinsing that we've had to go through over the past 5 or 6 months here. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how things play out on that end.
Herc, what about you, man? Same question.
So, as far as, well, two things, right? As far as crypto goes, having been part of the down cycle in 2017, 2018, I'm not expecting anything that big for 2024, probably 2025, end of 2024. But one of the big things is I like what you guys are doing with this DGen Roundtable, and I want to get back into making crypto videos again, mostly just educational stuff. So, the basics, because what I found is a lot of people don't know the basic things, like you need to get your money off of a SEX or centralized exchange. You need to put it on MetaMask. People don't know how. You need to buy crypto. People don't know how to do that. Specifically, people don't know how to use the Phantom ecosystem, how to stake, how to farm Boo, how to farm XBoo, how to use the Beethoven X platform, things like that. People don't know how to do it. So just making educational videos, and then from there, seeing if I can branch out again into having podcasts like you guys are doing and just getting other people on board as well. I think it's going to be good for self-development and also just to help a lot of the guys, because I think what we forget is, because we do this every day, right? For us, it's normal. So we don't exactly think about all these little basic things, but the basic things are where people get stuck on. I was speaking to this other guy the other day, and he's of the opinion that he's missed the Bitcoin train. And that's when it clicked for me that, hey, there's a lot of people that don't completely understand what's happening in this space. And I think what is missing is just getting back to basics and kind of the minutia of how to do crypto. So that's what I want to look into this year.
Quite frankly, I believe that's extremely important, because especially as we're, getting back into the bull and all that, euphoria is going to go crazy. People are going to start getting in. They're going to have no idea what they're doing. Kind of like what happened with me. It's just like, go do a thing. And for you to be like a light, in the darkness, to try and help people out, be like, oh, is that how I do that? Okay, makes sense. And then you can kind of sprinkle in there, good habits, good safe habits, right?
Exactly.
You're going to help a lot of people not get wrecked. And so, big respect for that.
And just on that as well, things like basic things like having multiple wallets, like not just having one major wallet for everything, condom wallets, throwing out some terms here, but things like that. And I think it's just the basics that we take for granted.
I like it. You had brought something up, and I personally am going to hold you accountable to it. You had mentioned that you want to start doing videos and stuff like that again.
That's good.
I'm going to hold you to it, man. If you tell me you want to start doing it in 2024, I'm definitely going to hold you to it. So the question that I have is, what specific content are you going to be putting out? Is it going to be specific to a certain ecosystem? Is it going to be geared towards beginners? What do you want to start doing?
So I'll start to gear towards beginners. I'll start with the basics. Look, I haven't mapped out the course yet, but the basics, and then I'm going to go round about chain to chain, kind of like in the vein of whiteboard crypto, but not as graphic, because I'm not as talented as those guys when it comes to visuals. But just going chain by chain, explaining what the benefits are, explaining how to videos, and if I can, maybe get some of you guys on as well, putting you on the spot. But just to chat through some things as well, just to get more perspective, because I think it's good to just bounce things off people as well, instead of just having a monologue that's running, So yeah.
Whatever you need, man. Absolutely. I mean, I know I'm willing to help. I know Will. I know Zenith. I know Nate. All of us. Brendan, Jay, it doesn't matter. You name any of the guys on the panel, they're gonna be there to help you out. So
that's good stuff.
We are here to make cool shit. We want to do it with you. Let's do it together.
100%.
Love the way you put that, Z.
Which we're gonna roll the conversation on over to Niles real quick. Niles, this is Coco Grundle speaking to you. I think Nate, I think Will, I think Zenith and I, we're all wondering the same thing. And the question is, when in 2024 are you going to start broadcasting your own content?
Man, you put me on the spot here.
Tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Tomorrow.
I would hate to disappoint, but I will most likely not be doing my own crypto content. We actually briefly touched on this on a Telegram call the other week. I was being facetious when I said that I'm gonna be reading the tea leaves and doing a little broadcasting on my own stuff, but I don't necessarily have the same passion for broadcasting it the same way that you guys do. But like I said in that call, I would love to be a part of anything that you guys are doing. I'm here, me and Josh are talking behind the scenes, and any way that I can be of assistance to you guys and the community that you guys are building, you already know I'm here for it.
Panel, what you guys got?
Sorry, my hotkeys were not working there for a second. No, I appreciate that, Niles. That's a really important thing. I know there's a lot of things coming up, possibly that we might call on you to kind of help us out a little bit, but for sure, it's an amazing thing to when you have started something like what we have here with the DJ Roundtable, and then get people like you who are like, you know what, I rock with you guys. I agree with you guys. What is it that I can do to help out? I know there's been some other people that have come up to us and been like, hey, how can we help you guys out? My heart goes out for that because I really appreciate that and an absolute respect for it. Thank you, Niles.
Of course, man. Of course.
I have a quick question. You both gentlemen are learned scholars. I got to say, what do you think is going to happen in 2024 from the technical analysis standpoint? If you asked me previously, like 6 months ago, I would have told you at the halving, we would hit about 48,500 for Bitcoin. We're already at like $44,000 effectively. How high do you see us going at the halving here?
Man, yeah, if I had to read the tea leaves a little bit, I don't think that the probability is in the favor of us running hot. And I would almost be a little bit
give me that hopium.
Sorry, I'm not peddling hopium tonight, but yeah, I think that I'm hoping we are, personally, as you can tell by my tagline, I'm hoping that we get a little bit of a retracement, a little buy the dip opportunity, and 48K, that 48K range is our last great area of resistance. So if we end up punching through that before we get to the front running of the halvening and everything, like, I don't know how I'd process that. That would be, your guys' guess would be as good as mine on that, but
could be a left translated cycle. Could be a left translated cycle in that event. You know what I'm saying? Once we get there, and if there's no real resistance, we could, the higher it runs, the harder it runs before the halvening. It could be another narrative that we might want to consider talking about as a left translated cycle.
Yeah.
For sure. No,
I haven't heard anybody
I've been
talk about
looking
it.
at. Sorry, go for it, brother.
No, I was just saying I haven't heard many people talking about the potential of that outside of Sami. If we end up running hot and then maybe we get a left translated cycle, and have kind of like a cup and handle type of situation going into 25 or 26. So
that was one of the things that scared me about this last Bitcoin pump was the macro weekly RSI was already screaming into blow off oversold territory. Like, it wasn't there yet, but it was approaching that. like right when it got to that 44 and it started ticking, or like right around that area, like I was starting to get nervous because I want to say that it's the highest weekly RSI the Bitcoin has gotten in the mid-cycle phase. You know, coming to the end of a cycle at the top, you know, it's easily gotten into the 85, 90 RSI on the weekly. But mid-cycle, it had gotten up there to where I was starting to get uncomfortable because it you know, Bitcoin has never reached on the weekly RSI into that 85, 90 RSI territory. It hasn't done it before. And it was starting to encroach on that. And I saw that and I was like, okay, this is going to be a deviation from past cycles. And could this be left translated? If this thing keeps pumping as hard as it is, that could be something that we might need to start looking at. Herc, I want to bring you in, man. What do you see TA wise, if you could answer Zena's question? Do you have any comments, any differing opinions?
So I just had the charts open and I was muted. I'm in the same boat. I was chatting to Maris Bunny about this the other day because we were having a chat, and I tried to keep my expectations as low as possible. So I'm not looking for it to bounce up too high. I'm looking for that retracement as well. And I just want to, I see it as a chance to accumulate some more, not a lot in 2024. I see a dip coming after the halving. We're probably going to jump just before it, as you say. When the dip comes afterwards, it's going to be a bit short-lived. Towards the end of the year, probably bounce up again. But I think there's opportunity to buy. I don't think there's going to be that much, though. I don't think the window of opportunity is going to be open for that long. So if you've got some bags or if you're busy stacking, stack. And yeah, I just want to pivot it a bit. I'm looking a lot into GameFi now because I got my other bags going. And I've actually been playing Illuvium, so I see the potential in it, being a gamer for most of my life. I see the potential. Those games are quite addictive. I've looked into Gala as well. Gala is one of my favorites, so trying to get that up. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, there's going to be time to accumulate, but I don't think that window is going to be too open for too long. Let's put it that way.
What's going to? I gotta.
No, go ahead, Zane.
Quick, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta say, Niles actually took one of my biggest talking points, which is that 48,500 on the Bitcoin chart is our last major resistance before we get back to all-time highs. So the reason I asked that question is because we're already so close to that last final resistance marker before we just go parabolic. But then hearing Herc talk about stuff like, yeah, there is an opportunity for a pullback, but also opportunity for other major sectors like GameFi, which is something we've been harping on for a while. There's a lot of opportunity here. And if you ask me, I think 2024 is going to be a bit of an up year. Granted, we are pretty much going to start out 2024 at about $44,000, but I can see it entirely going up from there.
So are we kind of talking about then people kind of selling off Bitcoin and able to get into other things like GameFi, right? And then as those start pumping really high, they'll put their money back into Bitcoin. That's kind of what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, but the way that the market typically flows is that we see like Bitcoin, layer ones, altcoins. That could absolutely happen. But with the halvening specifically, one of the things that I anticipate seeing is that we see short-term holders, aka miners, have to start selling off some of their own accumulated stockpile because the cost of mining doubles and the rewards go down. Therefore, it's going to be a little bit harder for some of the smaller guys to keep up. So that might be an opportunity to get out. Or with another thing we've been seeing is that larger players have been doubling down and have been anticipating that weak hands from the mining standpoint are going to get out. Therefore, it's an opportunity for them to keep doubling down farther. There's a lot of factors that play here, but I think the halvening, as we've seen previously, there's usually a good pump up to the halvening, small dip, and then we go off to the bull market. So that's what I'm anticipating still.
Yep.
And then it usually flows into Ethereum. Do you wonder if able to make appropriate amounts of money for these Bitcoin miners, what they do is they take their Bitcoin and they actually sell it into Ethereum? Because generally when you're looking at like dominance, the Ethereum Bitcoin dominance usually goes like this, right? Just before any halvening. And then what I would say is during the halvening, that's when these Bitcoin miners are then selling into Ethereum, knowing that they can get a heck of a lot more X's off of that, and then ends up kind of flowing down from there.
Well, I mean, there's still plenty of time for Bitcoin to sort of chop sideways, break down a little bit, and stuff like that. I just know that when you get into a period where you're used to studying the charts and you're used to identifying trends in the macro market, it's easy to get into a rhythm. And right now we're in a rhythm where I think Niles can back this up, where it's like, okay, we're starting to get pretty oversold. We're going to start expecting a downslide. But when that downslide stalls and the heat starts to turn back up, that's when it's like, okay, well, I wasn't anticipating this. There's something different that's going on in the market. It's sort of a rhythm buster. Correct me if I'm wrong, Niles. Is that along the lines of what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. The only thing that I'm getting a little bit curious about is what happens if people begin to start front running the ETF, or the ETF news punches us through 48K and we just run hot, because at this point the 4-year cycle is it's essentially written in stone. So the crowd has a nasty habit of being wrong. So that's one thing that I would be I'm not saying that it's probable, but I'm saying that it's definitely possible that we end up getting that red 24, which would catch everybody offside.
I created a graph. I shared it in our Telegram leadership group that we have, and I also posted on Twitter. I posted the Twitter link in the community chat earlier today, but it was pretty much the pathway to $250,000 Bitcoin. And if you look at it's a progressive uptrend pretty much up until October and November of 2025, of where Bitcoin could reach, either, anywhere between 140 to 240, $250,000. But traditionally, coming out of the halvening, we know Bitcoin likes to go vertical. You know what I'm saying? It'll go vertical. So whether it decides to stay on that trend, I don't think that that's very possible, because typically, instead of a long staggered out incline, you'll see periods where it will go extremely vertical, and then you'll have a sell off, and then it'll go vertical a little bit more after the halvening until you get to the top. So seeing that that's the case, I wanted to kind of transition the conversation. I want to get everybody on the panel's opinion. What do you guys think would be a pretty realistic price at the end of 2024 for Bitcoin? I don't want the price for the very top of the market in 2025. If we get to 2025, we could very well go left translated and it could be different. But if we stay on the traditional 4-year mark, what do you think this time in 2024? What do you think would be a realistic price for Bitcoin? And I want to start with, who wants to go first? Does anybody? All right, Will, go ahead.
I think it's gonna be 69,420.
That's specific.
Attaboy.
Yep. And my reasoning for this is because that's the number of million DGen Roundtable tokens there are in circulation, and I think that eventually Bitcoin is going to catch up and get correlated to the DGen Roundtable coin. So that's my theory.
Your
and
theory
also,
is-
I have no idea on anything having to do with TA or cycles or things. I think it's all a crapshoot anyways. And so if it's going to be a cool number, it's going to be a cool number that's associated to our fucking channel. So you heard it here first. 69,420 is going to be the closing candle for 2024.
Your logic
if I
is
had
based in your
if I had a
logic
mic, I'd drop it.
Your logic is based in so much fact. It's incredible, bro. I appreciate that. I appreciate that input. Zenith, what do you think?
Right.
All right. I just did a quick Fibonacci retracement on the cycle. So I get these somewhere around. Do we break all-time highs before 2025 or not? If we don't break all-time highs before 2025, somewhere around 58K. But if we do break, I could see maybe like 69,000 to match all-time highs. Because after that, we still got a whole theoretically 10 to 11 months before we complete that full 4-year cycle. So that's a lot of time to go, and it's the parabolic portion, so it should theoretically just get steeper and steeper.
I will answer your question. I will answer your question. Typically, in the past, it has taken between 1,000 to 1,100 days from cycle top to where Bitcoin goes through its bear phase, and then it comes back out and reaches new all-time highs. All right, so 3 years plus a couple months is typically where that lines up to be. So, and it was like, 1,100 days in the last cycle from its all-time high in 2017 to where it hit new all-time highs. That was 1,100 days. And then the cycle prior to that was like 1,080 days or something like that. So, you can average, you can take the average of that, split it down the middle, and say anywhere between 3 years and 3 months. So if you put, November 2021 up there, then you could say December of 2024, we could very much be at or near that $69,000 level. Between 60 to 65, 69, somewhere in that area, we could be there.
I got to call it 69,420. That's just the number. That's where it's at.
Are we just all going to say 69,420 at this point?
I mean, it sounds crazy, but technically speaking, that's not a terrible answer.
No,
it's not a terrible answer at all. Nate, what do you think?
So I'm looking at Bitcoin a little bit differently. I'm not necessarily charting it. So for me, I'm a little bit on the I'm on another side of, like, I'm just hearing people talk words, telling campfires around a fire, and and just kind of getting a sense of what people are thinking. People are thinking right around anywhere from 74 to maybe 80,000. That's where people are throwing their price predictions, and of course, there's a lot of chart prawn that goes everywhere with that, right? But I'm not looking at it myself, but as far as I'm hearing from everybody else, they're looking at anywhere from like 74 to 80,000.
Niles, what you thinking, bro?
Right.
Yeah, my computer did not like Will's prediction very much. It shit the bed immediately after that. But so sorry, did you say in a year from now?
Yeah. So this time, 2024, where do you think the price of Bitcoin will be at? Do you think it'll be at all-time highs? Do you think it'll already surpass all-time highs? Where are you thinking this time next year?
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible that we've blown the top on the all-time high by this time next year.
Yeah.
Like I meant, like I wasn't in crypto in the previous cycle, but guys who've been through the 17 and the 21 cycles, they've talked a lot about how this information was not as easy to come by, and now, like I said, the 4-year cycle is essentially written in stone at this point. Like you kind of have to think about that that chart that Sami always references, the bell curve of early tech adopters and innovators, and then conservatives, and then skeptics, right? The latter two being the laggards, right? And there's a chasm that you cross. There's a chasm that you cross in like that 17 cycle, and like I'm not arrogant enough to believe that I'm the guy who's so smart that figured out this whole crypto thing, and now I'm in here to kill the game. I think that there's definitely something to be said for the the time frame that we're currently in, and it's possible that we just have been front running this thing, because I know myself, I got some family members who they've been in crypto for a while, and they actually they round tripped from the previous cycle. And I'm sitting here looking at like my brother, he's telling me, yeah, I've been holding Bitcoin and Ethereum, but it's been going down, you know? And I'm like, well, do you know what the 40-year cycle is, bro? He's like, no, what's that? I'm like, you know? So at this point with the information, I think it's likely that, you know, we front run, and we might run hotter than expected, but you know, that leads potential to you know, to dump harder than expected. So I think we'll definitely be past the all-time high. Not definitely, but you know, I think it's very likely.
I like it. Herc, what do you think, bud?
Well, I'm just looking at the charts now and looking at the upward trajectory since 2012, just there. If you look at it, you can actually see that it goes up, but the momentum slows and the upward swing isn't as high as it is every single cycle, right? So just keeping that in mind, at the end of 2024, I kind of have to agree with Will and Zenith. It looks like it's probably going to hit round about 70, just above 70. That's if it sticks with the trends, because you had that massive spike around about 2014, and then you had the spike again 2018, and then around 2021, and yeah, just looking at that upward momentum, I don't see it swinging incredibly high, but I mean, you're going to get a new all-time high probably, or close to one, in 2024.
Wait,
Just
so
looking at
Herc,
the graph.
are you saying that we're gonna get a price of like 69,420?
I can neither confirm nor deny
That sounds like opium to me. Bullishness.
those statements.
I'm gonna give
But
my
yeah,
feedback.
69,420 looks good.
I like
looks
it.
possible.
I'm gonna give my input, and I'm gonna share the charting that I did on it, and then we can go ahead and start wrap. This will be sort of the last thing that we talk about, but just give me one quick second to pull it up. Actually, no, I'm not going to pull it up.
A quick rundown of it.
Yeah, I'm not going to pull it up. I mean, this could easily turn into a 20, 30-minute conversation, and we're already 2 hours in. So, but long story short, I would agree. I think right around all-time highs, 69,420, if that's the number that we're going with, then I think that could be a very realistic number. You know, given what's happened in the past, I think between October and February, I think that's when we'll see a break into new all-time highs, October 2024 to February 2025. So if you take a look at exactly where we are, that puts us smack dab in the middle. Of course, it could happen before that, but I think that is prime territory to break into new all-time highs. And then, you know, if the cycle maintains exactly how it has over the last 3 to 4 cycles, then, you know, sometime October, November 2025 is when we'll see the top. So, but very educated, very good insight from everybody. I appreciate it very much. Let's go ahead and transition into wrapping up. Herc, Niles, I want to give you guys the opportunity. Do you guys have a Twitter handle? Do you guys have Instagram? Do you guys have anything that you guys want to share to the community right now?
Yeah,
OnlyFans too.
Yeah, Herc. Yeah, let everyone know your OnlyFans there, Herc.
Yeah, hey, let the cats out of the bag there. Guys gotta make money. Yeah, I put my Twitter handle into the YouTube chat. It's at YouGrowLimited. We'll be posting more. It's crypto and some of my own thoughts on there as well. I will be starting the YouTube channel, so I'll probably share that in the DJing group in the upcoming months, well, next month. So you guys can find me on Twitter for now at YouGrowLimited, and I will share my YouTube handle soon.
Outstanding. Niles, what you got, buddy? Do you want to dox any social medias, or are you good to go?
Yeah, so right right here. Where are we at? Where are we at? Right here. This is my OnlyFans link. I will all of my
feet
all of
pics.
my proceeds from that will no, I don't do feet pics, bro. I sell charts, bro. I sell charts on there. It's it's wholesome.
That's
It's
perfect.
wholesome stuff. No, yeah, so I'll be buying Pepe with that. But that's my IG. There's absolutely nothing crypto related on that. If you want to click it, check out some music. I do music production. That's what I got for you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Herc, Niles, you guys definitely feel free to stay on stream if you want to, hang out in the green room if you want. But thank you guys so much for being on. It's the information that you guys have is phenomenal. And we're so excited to have you guys as part of the community. So thank you so much. Nate, what you got, bud?
So I do not have a show this Tuesday. A lot of Christmas stuff has been going on, and I've got 3 different subjects that I wanted to talk about. And it, unfortunately, Tuesday is kind of popping up a little bit quick for me to be able to get everything all put together. So I'm like, with all Christmas involved as well, I think I'll skip it for next week. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go in depth with AI, though. I'm not 100% on. I know Sniper sent me something to look at as well. So, shout out to you, Sniper. I'm definitely looking into that. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool things. So, yep, the Ascending Man, it's my show where I like to just talk about interesting things that are on my mind. With that being said, Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope y'all are having a great time here. Thank you very much for getting on the show, listening to us here, babble on and on about the most amazing thing on this planet, which is cryptocurrencies. And yeah, Merry Christmas.
Will, what you got, buddy?
I'm still chilling in Texas. You guys can find me at Linktree/Will Stevenson. If you're a Hexkin, you want to meet other Hexkins, go to bit.ly/Hex_Meetup_Template. Put in as much information as you wish to dox yourself with. And I'm in Texas, so reach out and hit me up if you're in Texas and you want to hang out. I've already got to hang out with Rod, or I still have to hang out with Rod. I still have to hang out with, oh, shoot, I was just talking to him. He was in the chats. Damn it. He just left a little bit ago. His name also starts with an R. I can't. Anyways, I'm going to hang out with some Texans. So if you're a Hexkin in Texas, hit me up. Or if you're just a crypto bro in Texas or you watch our channel, hit me up. Otherwise, make sure you guys join our fucking DGen Roundtable. All right. I made this wonderful, wonderful, crazy, expensive bit.ly link, bit.ly/degenerate_roundtable. It's not expensive at all. It's super free. You guys can go make bit.ly links if you want. But bit.ly/degenerate_roundtable will take you straight into our Telegram group. Come join our Telegram group. Come be a part of the conversation. Come hang out. Come chit chat with these wonderful, beautiful people here. And that is all that I got going on. Mr. Zenith, what's up with you, bro?
Well,
and also we're interviewing my mom next Wednesday. She's got a book on taxes. And so we'll give you some good tax information. And I have to redact some information I put out. She does not help prepare taxes. She represents people on their behalf to the IRS to help them figure out problems that they inevitably get. So if you need help preparing taxes, go to like H&R Block or someone. Or I mean, she'll do it for like a super high fee if you really want her to, but she represents people to the IRS. So that's all I got on that. So now Zenith, go ahead.
Speaking of which, we did just complete book club this last Friday, talking about a book written by none other than Christine Stevenson, aka How to Avoid Trouble with the IRS. 10 tax tips for the self-employed, hustlers, gig workers, and small business owners. It was a great show. We are looking forward to having her on Wednesday. The book club is supposed to be a lead into that. Speaking of which, book club, we are doing the Millionaire Mindset for the next one 2 weeks from now, unless something else massive comes up. Which, by the way, we do have a lot of things in the work right now. I'm working on something, Josh is working on something, and Maddie All-In is working on something with us, potentially. So we're looking forward to that. As always, I'm Zenith. You can find me on Twitter at HexSpaceForce, Instagram and YouTube at HexagoSpaceForce. And thank you so much for spending time with us. I will be shredding POW for the next week, so that's what I'm up to. But other than that, thanks for showing up. We appreciate you greatly. Josh, take it from here.
For those of you that are wondering, Zenith has to wear that helmet 24 hours a day. He typically doesn't do it when we're on stream. But it's not just yet. Exactly. Because if he falls or anything like that, it could be bye-bye. So, that's all right. Nate, Will, Zenith, I got a question for you guys. Should we hint at what we have coming down the pipeline as far as what we discussed on our group call?
No, fuck them.
Should we hint at that now? Okay, I
believe
see.
we should.
I see Will saying no, and I see Nate saying yes. So Zenith, you're going to be the tiebreaker. Should we hint on it?
That's a yes. It landed tab up, so yes, chill it.
All right. So
I was just saying that to be contrarian. Just say you should totally hint at it.
In the very near future, okay, we are going to be having a paid membership tier set up. Okay, so we're going to be having 3 paid tiers, and I'm going to give you guys this warning now while you can get into our Telegram community for free while you guys can right now. Okay, so that's the little hint that I'm going to give you guys. All right, bit.ly/degenerate_roundtable. Get in now while it's free, because it's not going to be free forever. So that's a little teaser that we're going to give you guys. Again, my name is Josh. You guys can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram at Chocolate Taints. As far as what we have coming up around the corner, what the guys are. Yeah, we got a lot of things coming around the corner. I'm in the finalization process of getting Access Alive, Toby One, Hexobi, Crypto Boogie, and Jay to do a monster TA stream in the middle of January. January 17th is when that's going to be. It's just going to be an all-out TA nerd session talking about expectations for 2024 and maybe covering a little bit of recap of 2023. We'll see. We'll see how the conversation goes, but that's what's coming around the corner. Zenith is also headlining our Q1 2024 thesis. So we're going to be putting that out at the beginning of January. We're putting in a lot of hard work and a lot of hard effort into that. So it'll be what we as a group can expect for the upcoming quarter for Q1 2024. And then we're also going to have some other things coming around the corner as well. So a lot of special guests, a lot of cool stuff that we're going to have coming up, more content to put out and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like I said, make sure you guys are joining that Telegram. And if you guys haven't done so already, smash the like button. Make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe. Most importantly, though, make sure you share this URL across all your social medias. Let your friends know, let your family know exactly the content that you're listening to, the content you're following, so that they can become millionaires as well with you. So everybody that is watching us now, thank you guys so much. It's Christmas Eve. Make sure you spend time with family. Make sure you just hang out with those that are close to you. Make sure you let everybody know that you care about, how much you care about them. It's that time of year. Family's most important. So make sure you guys are letting all the family members know how much you care about them, how much you appreciate them. As you guys get older, of course, I'm talking to the young folks. Days start to fly by, days turn into months, months turn into years, and before you know it, you're blowing down the highway. So take the time now to just let everybody in the family know how much you care about them. We can't thank you guys enough. For those that have stuck around watching us live on this Christmas Eve, thank you guys so much. We know it's important. Time is your most valuable asset. We understand that. We thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you guys are catching this on replay, make sure you hit that subscription, hit that notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed. That way you can catch us live on our next episode. We look forward to seeing everybody back here at our next scheduled time. We hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and degen responsibly.
Yeah.